All right, chat. We haven't spoken about Muujin in a hot minute. Looks like Muujin has posted a video. We all know when Muujin posts a video, he goes an in-depth video. So apparently, there's been some fraud happening in the art industry. Well, in the art community anyway. So apparently, there's a new AI art method that managed to trick over 100K people. The unprecedented case of Asami art. So I have no idea what this is. I don't really associate with any communities because at the end of the day, you know, community people also has toxicity, you know. What do you expect, you know? Yeah, you just put it in the Discord thingy. I can take a look at it in a bit.
Look, let's face it, AI has become a thorn in the butt for just about anyone who doesn't look like a human reptile. And you don't really have to research too long to find out why. Just look at what's been happening recently. RAM prices have absolutely skyrocketed to never before seen levels because of AI data centers buying them all up. And just to
I do have a question since I know that like dubstep and like dark is here, but I'll say it after the video though.
People were starting to delay their plans of upgrading their PC because of this. AI targeted a new victim. SSDs are now rising in value very quickly and could double.
Ay puta, SSDs too? Ay cabrón, no mames.
Even triple within the next few months because of them. This is not looking good. But while
maybe I should probably buy that. Maybe I should buy that pre-built computer. maybe that deal isn't half bad. It is. Maybe it's not that half bad to buy a pre-built computer now. Maybe I should take the offer from Mama Azathoth and buy the pre-built computer. Oh my god, are you fucking serious, dude? Oh my god, dude.
PC builders are finally starting to see the negative impact of what AI can do to them. There's a particular set of people who've been having to deal with AI for years now. And of course, I'm referring to none other than artists. I mean, things have gotten so bad that just as an example,
I did tell you before, Co, SSDs was gonna go up with RAM sticks. Fuck, man. Maybe I should buy that pre-built computer, to be honest. Maybe that computer's offer is a lot more better now, to be honest. Jesus fucking god, dude. We're never gonna be able to dual stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time.
A Japanese game studio recently started making applicants draw in front of them during interviews to prove that they're not using generative AI. Yes, that's how good it's gotten. Take a look at this drawing. It looks absolutely stunning, right?
Give me a second. Let me find it. Let me find it. Nope, it's AI. I can tell immediately it's AI. Nope. It's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. But that's not legit though. That's not legit. Nope. No, sir. These are getting really fucking good, dude. Honestly, these are getting really fucking good, dude. These are really kind of hard to tell. It's getting really close. I see 1, 2, 3. 4 because of design choice. 5. I see there are 5 things wrong with this image. There are literally 5 things that are wrong with this image. I can tell immediately what is wrong immediately. There are 5 things wrong with this image. Instantaneously, I can tell immediately what's wrong with this image. It's good though. It's hard to tell. This is crazy. Bet it's a pain to keep always watching interviewers draw live. I know how to draw normally. I have no problem with drawing normally as well. You know, just give me something like, let's say if I have an image or something, like say like, oh, draw me this person or so. I'll draw this person. Like I have no problem whatsoever. You know, like I said, I use AI too in my workflow. I don't need to use it either too. If they don't want me to use it, they don't. You know, they just tell me, no, I don't want you to use it. I'm like, okay, all right, sure, yeah, I got no problem. So it's pretty simple for me. So like I have no problem whatsoever. Like I'm skilled with it and without it at the end of the day. So like I said, I'm pretty confident in my artwork, so I'm not scared of AI whatsoever. So
what about this one? I mean, damn.
Let me see. Oh, okay, so he's trying to prove specifically if you can tell if these are AI or not. Okay, let me see. I want to know. I can tell immediately. Yeah, that makes no sense right there for the hair, that one hair piece right there. There's already 2 things that are wrong with it right now. 3 things. There are 3 things wrong. There are 3 things wrong in this drawing right now. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to tell, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's definitely pretty hard. If you don't have a keen eye or so in drawing after watching it, so the Kool-Aid looks weird to me. So there's the ear looks off. The ear is definitely weird. If you see the ear specifically, the ear is a little bit fucking weird or so. This looks a little bit jank. The clothing on this part specifically here is a little bit off. You know, this looks weird. This looks completely off in general, you know. Boobas. The funny thing about this is the weird thing I have or so specifically is this shading. This specific shading down here is a little bit weird because, like, okay, so like the angle of this is forward, right? So you're facing forward, right? But the boobas, everything from the waist upwards is kind of like tilting a little bit to the left, you know? Like that's the weird thing about it. Is like her waist and upwards is moving towards the left instead of it looking straight. I don't know, dude. The angle of this looks a little bit off. Like the bottom part is looking straight, but then this top part here, just this specific part here, it's just literally looking a little bit more slightly to the left. Like she's angling towards the left a lot more, you know, instead of like consistently straight, you know. Hey Zero, thank you for the follow as well. Welcome. Like, let me see. Squatting down. Forward, I think it's squatting down, right? I think it is, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, so like, let me see. Yeah, so this is basically what I'm seeing. It's like this angle specifically when it comes to squatting in general. I'm trying to see if I can find one that's like specifically like forward. Let me see. Side view. Let's try a side view. Side view. I need a side view of the squatting in general. Kind of so basically, if you have the camera angled this way specifically, right? If you have it angled towards this or so, you see that her boobs would be pointing forward, not this weirdness of pointing it like diagonally this way. I'm not too sure because this just looks off to me. Just this in general just looks completely off to me. Plus also the hair consistency is making it a little bit weird too as well. There's some weird shading. There's a little bit of some weird shading specifically in the hair itself, so that's why. Like if you've drawn for such a long time, you have a keen eye for drawings in general, when you analyze and look at drawings and like learn how they specifically draw and how they do certain things, you start kind of pretty much seeing the same rhythm as what AI art does, you know? It's a consistent thing, you know? Now, of course, there will be some that'll probably trick me, right? But if you have been there for a while, you know? Plus also at the same time, if you guys don't notice this part right here, this looks a little bit weird. It looks like her right shoulder is like kind of like going upwards and her left shoulder looks a little bit lot more like her right shoulder looks like it's pointed upwards and her left shoulder is like more relaxed, you know, as you can see, when both of them are supposed to be relaxed in general, you know. When you view that specifically, you see this here, you see what's going on. Like it looks like the clothes have been torn, like not torn, but it looks like it's melding together back here specifically. This right here underneath her chin and everything. This looks weird. And also this part, it's supposed to be like fuck, my fashion sentences are fucking terrible, to be honest. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be a strap here for her top piece, but her strap on this piece is like whatever the fuck this is, you know? So it's, you know, as you can tell.
Everything from the eyes to the facial expression to the outfit. It would have normally taken a lot of talent to be able to draw something like this.
It's
Except
AI.
In both of these cases, no one actually drew them. It was AI generating an image.
Yeah, of course.
That's just how worryingly good it's gotten.
No, if you have a keen eye for art or so, you should know immediately it's AI. If you there's a difference between someone who knows how to draw, who's been drawing for quite a long time, can tell immediately it's AI, you know?
However, when it comes to these two drawings that I showed you, the accounts that posted them very clearly say that they're using AI. There's no problem there. But unfortunately,
if they say it, there's no problem whatsoever. So I think the thing is like if you're using AI and like, you know, you're clarifying that you're using AI, there's not really much of a problem because it's like, oh, okay, you're using AI, okay, all right. Like, because I use AI in my workflow. I always tell, you know, my YouTube audiences and everyone, you know, that I'm like, yeah, I use it. But like it's like the basis of my work. It's usually for the posing, the clothing, and then maybe hair sometimes, depending on the hair. But most of the time, not really. I kind of want to use a different hairstyle most of the time. So, and that's basically it. My eyes are still mine. You can tell what my eyes look like specifically designed compared to the AI normal ones. My eyes are more, I guess, more like this. They're more slanted down like this specifically. That's kind of like it. As an art connoisseur for the longest time, I can tell this AI. I wonder what kind of art connoisseur it is. Yeah, but like if you say yeah, I use AI in my workflow, that's about it, you know. I'd be like, oh, okay, all right, and that's it. Crazy frauds are trying to get a job in JP side. Game devs, they do code, they jacking your method. Wait, are you telling me they're trying to get jobs or so? Man, I just say just better up your game or so as an artist, you know. Like I can draw normally without any problems.
It's like that. In fact, many people try to make it seem like they were the ones who drew it. Some are so shameless that they go as far as charging people money to draw them sketches, when in reality, there's absolutely no drawing involved. People are paying for someone to draw something for them and are just getting something that was generated in an AI for free. Now, usually, these people can be easily caught by simply asking for a PSD file. This allows you to see the different layers used for drawing and can pretty much expose an AI user very quickly. However, recently, it hasn't been so easy. There's a new breed of people using AI to pass it off as their own drawings.
What is this new method? What is it? I've not heard of this before.
And they have become a real problem. Those people are tracers. What they do is generate an AI drawing, but instead of just ending it there, they take it a step further by drawing on top of it. This allows them to make these time lapses that makes it seem like they're legitimate, like they're actually drawing what they're presenting. Now, to the average person that doesn't draw, this seems normal, and this would calm any doubts they might have. For experienced artists, though, they understand that drawing is a very messy process initially. There's no such thing as just drawing perfect lines and calling it there.
True. He's not wrong on that one. He's definitely not wrong on that. He is very true.
This is why it's been so much harder to prove if someone's actually using AI, and it's been getting to a point where some people are able to slip through the cracks long enough to garner a huge following. For this video, of course, we're talking about none other than Asami Arts, someone who has garnered almost 100,000 followers on their page that they barely made a year and a half ago, while managing to build a big, loyal audience. Now, seeking to expose someone like this is no small feat, but Teru, an experienced artist, went above and beyond to show everyone that Asami was tracing AI. They were not legitimate, even though they were charging money for commissions. On December 1st, 2025, they would post, Asami Arts is tracing AI. This is an account with nearly 100,000 followers who has been taking dozens of commissions through VGen. Here is the evidence. And my God, does this document provide—
Jesus fucking Christ. More Google Docies? We got more Google Docies, chat. We got more Google Docies.
Proof. It goes deep into the most minute details imaginable while presenting everything
Google
in such an amazing way. I almost shed a tear by how well this document was formatted, especially after the awful last few we've looked at. Ugh. And seeing how AI unfortunately doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon, this means that issues like this will keep happening on an even greater—
Yeah, I also heard it's not just the game industries. Other industries have to have employees or interviewers asked to interview to draw on the spot. Dude, I'd be so confident. Like if I would go into those specific like actual work or so and draw in front of them, I'd be like, all right, what do you want me to draw? Show me what you want me to draw. I'll draw it right fucking now, dude. Give me some pencil and paper and watch this shit.
Level, so it's important for us to understand what to look for and why this is such a big deal. This is why I figured that we had to talk about it, but also because later on we would get one hell of a twist. The artist being accused would end up posting a very convincing looking time-lapse that proves their innocence. And as many people were starting to think that the person who wrote the document only did so out of jealousy, a day later, this same time-lapse would get community noted.
No way, dude. Are you serious? It got community noted? Holy shit, dude. Oh my God. Brother in Christ, dude.
This really isn't your typical artist drama, okay? There's a lot of ups and downs here. It's one hell of a roller coaster, so strap in. You're gonna need it.
All right,
Let's
let me hear it.
do this.
I gotta hear this.
All right, so first things first, for you to really understand the gravity of the situation, we need to talk about what VGen is. It's a platform that was made by artists for artists.
Yeah, of course.
It has become very popular over the last few years, and it essentially allows you to have some sort of an open marketplace for artists. It initially started out as very popular within the VTuber community. The
problem is for me is like I used to do like this wasn't a thing, right? This wasn't a thing back like many. I don't know when VGen started or so, because I never heard of it. I have heard of what's the name of that one other website that you can post your art on? Fuck, what's it called? I forgot what's it called. It's an old website that people used to do or so. No, not Rule 34. It's another one. There we go, DeviantArt. That's the one. Yeah, I used DeviantArt a long time ago. Oof, fucking way back then. Oof, my god. But even then, I took breaks or so because I just kind of like focused on perfecting my skills as a digital artist. I still, like, even back then or so, I haven't fully transitioned over to digital art. I was still doing like a lot of pencil and paper sketches, like a lot of pencil and paper drawings in general, right? I think I still have them here. Let me see if I can pop them up real quick. I should still have my like pencil and paper art, like some of them anyways, because I would have to dig or so to find most of them. Let's see if I can find. Let's see if I can find it. Where the fuck is this at? Like a super long time ago. Let me see. Where are they at? Do I not have them on here? I thought I had them on here specifically. I know I have them somewhere in a folder or something. I know for a fact because I have like so many folders specifically talking about this, but I don't remember where the hell they're at specifically. I know they're somewhere here. I'll have to find them.
Models and whatnot, but now has everything from music to writing to physical goods. The advantage it gives to a client is the fact that they can come here and commission someone they know is verified by the website, someone legitimate. For the artists, on the other hand, this gives them way more protections than a website like PayPal does, while also giving them a very handy dashboard to keep track of multiple commissions.
Does it? Is it actually really that good? Huh. I don't know. I've been out of like the commission scene for art stuff. I just do it for fun now these days. I don't really do it for that. Find the file. I have 9 drives, 2 terabytes. I have fucking, like, the problem is, right? I have fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 drives. Unfortunately, my O drive got corrupted again, motherfucker. No wonder I was getting a blue screen again. Definitely, I need to replace that O drive. But the problem is I don't have money to replace it at the moment. So yeah, my O drive is completely fucked. I think I need to completely delete that one, or probably maybe what is it? Because I did switch it to a different port and everything like that to see if that'll fix the issue. It didn't really fix the issue. I've been having issues with that shit, to be honest. I could do that, or I can just completely wipe it. Like, I could do that too as well. I could wipe the entire drive and see maybe that'll help, but I doubt that'll help. I think the drive might be a little bit fucked, in my personal opinion. Get it replaced as soon as possible since SSDs is going up. Problem is I need money for that. You know for a fact I don't make that much money, chat. You guys know exactly I do not make that much money to be replacing computer parts left and right, okay? Alright? That's just how it is for me.
One of the things that make it appealing to commission someone on this website is the fact that it's a closed community. Not anyone can just create an account and make themselves an artist. No, they have to have an invite code. There are 6 different ways to get a code, and none of them are easy. Additionally, even after you get a code, you only get verified on the platform after completing a very specific set of criteria. You have to have 10 followers, make $100 in the last 30 days, get 3 reviews from different clients, and the review rating has to be above 4.6 out of 5.
Man, it's pretty fucking strict, I ain't gonna lie, to be honest, for you to get verified on here.
Once that happens, your profile gets reviewed by an actual human being, which means if you have the verified badge, VGen personally took
I need to upload more on Pixiv, because I have not uploaded in Pixiv in a hot minute, to be honest. We're gonna see if either this week or next week, probably next week, we should start working on the Christmas and the other stuff in general. But I think this week, should probably work on this stuff for the work, actually, to be honest. We'll see. We'll probably do it this week, probably.
Time to
might do some art streams
profile.
this week.
One of the things human reviewers look for is the fact that you're actually drawing your own art. You're not using AI. And that's to be expected. One of the first things you see when you go to VGen's website is the sentence, "All human artists welcome." That's because VGen's stance on AI is pretty much what every artist's stance is. They'll only accept it if it's 100% opt-in, which means they can give their consent for their art to be used to train models, all while giving credit to people contributing to AI models and giving them—
I use my own. I have my own design. I have one designed especially for me, so.
royalties,
but it's
because it's their
clothing,
art and they deserve—
trained on clothing, posing, and hair design, hair specifically. Like, yeah, it's trained on anime, right? But I'm just like, it's just kind of like clothing mostly I care about the most.
to get paid for it. AI currently doesn't do any of these things. They just took art without anyone's consent and used it for their models without crediting anyone or giving them any compensation.
I think it's pretty shitty in my personal
opinion.
And
while this all sounds wonderful on paper, even having a human reviewing your profile for AI,
that's good.
Reality is kind of a different story. There have been many AI tracers that have made it through the cracks of VGen's verification team, and one of those people is none other than Asami.
I don't think I've ever heard of this
They joined Twitter
person.
in August 2024, and their whole point has been to present art in a more parasocial form. You see, the whole point here is that
making art as a parasocial form? Excusez-moi?
that Asami is the owner of this profile and is posting suggestive arts of herself. Most of these pictures will also have captions, and those too will be suggestive. Asami was able to garner one hell of a community fairly quickly with a very high engagement rate. For example, this post with the caption, "Do you think it suits her?" in which we can see the character Asami wearing some fairly revealing clothing, has hundreds of thousands of views and over 26,000 likes.
Sure,
this essentially is any artist's dream, right? To post something like this on their profile and receive this much engagement. And yet here was Asami.
Damn it, I thought parasocial VTubing was crazy, but man, we got parasocial art. Man, that's a new kind of low-hanging fruit. I ain't gonna fucking lie, to be honest.
Posting art almost daily, always getting a whole lot of engagement. And so they wasted no time whatsoever opening up commissions and charging $120 for half body.
What the fuck? They're charging $120? Fuck, man. I charge half of that. God damn, these people making fucking money and shit. God, they fucking ripping off all of you guys, bro. I ain't gonna lie. They're ripping the shit out of you guys. What the fuck? Bro, I would do that half the price, bro. I would make a half body art with half of the price. What the hell? A full body pig for 150? What the hell? Damn, dude. I probably would charge half of that. God damn, dude, what the hell? Oh my god, dude. Man, dude, something was up when it came to the art community, dude. Honestly, dude, like when I used to do art commissions, bro, I've never paid anywhere near, I never charged anybody nowhere near these prices, dude. This is crazy. Co, take notes, you charging half, co, wake up, it's price hike season. Your mom's a price hike season for this dick. If you want to make bank, be a furry artist. Yeah, if you want to make money or so, be a furry artist. But man, dude, that's... I ain't gonna fucking lie, to be honest. As someone who did, like art commissions or so back then, like a long time ago, like super long time. We're talking fucking many years ago. Jesus Christ, dude. This is insane, though. Oh my god, I have never charged anywhere near these prices, dude. That's crazy, dude.
And up to $150 for full body. Opening
even having AI literally in my workflow now, like having like actual like AI and being part of my workflow specifically, not the rendering part. I love doing the rendering part. That shit's mine. I don't fucking let AI take over that. But like this specifically, it's like even then I still wouldn't charge. I wouldn't even charge any more, you know.
VGen and getting a verified badge.
Jesus
but that's
Christ.
not all.
I wouldn't even charge
Asami
more.
would also have a fan box in which they posted some I mean, at this point it wasn't suggestive anymore. It was just straight up
okay, I see.
NSFW drawings. The lowest tier to access these NSFW drawings was around $4 a month, with the highest one being $13 a month. Judging by the likes and comments, they made a pretty penny. I mean,
man, I swear to God, bro, these people, like, I'll be honest with you, these people are pretty smart. I'm not gonna lie, because they hustled you guys. They hustled the shit out of you guys. Honestly, they literally hustled the crap out of you guys, dude. That's fucking crazy, dude. This person literally robbed you guys with money, man. That's fucking wild to see that, dude. Dude, they know how to hustle, bro. I ain't gonna fucking lie. I probably wouldn't do the same thing, but like, man, dude, that's crazy.
Of course they did. They had found the most profitable way to make money on the internet, being parasocial.
They hustled.
Look at this comment on the teaser they posted of the 18+ drawing. I don't like this one. I don't like other people touching her. To which Asami replied with, "Ah, sorry. I actually meant to draw this as you. No one touches her, jealous boy. Don't worry." That person would then reply with, "Ah, okay, then it's fine." How did we get here? In any case, this all leads us to Teru, an actual artist that doesn't use AI that noticed Asami on their feed. You see, for the average person, Asami's drawings looked legitimate. There was nothing fishy about them. But for an experienced artist, someone who actually draws almost every day and knows what it takes to make something, Asami was definitely getting very fishy. Thing is, though, there's a lot of fishy artists out there. For Teru, though, the reason why they didn't just block Asami and move on is because they noticed they were charging a minimum of $120 for just a simple sketch commission. This would lead Teru—
wait, they're charging $120 for a simple sketch? Damn, man. God damn, man. They definitely knew how to hustle you guys. They robbed you. They fucking flipped you upside down and shook you down like Mr. Shake Man from fucking Yakuza 0. God damn, dude. That is crazy.
Quote tweeting one of the time lapses that Asami had posted to prove they weren't using AI, all while saying, "Love it when people who trace AI post time lapses to prove that they are definitely not tracing, but then it looks exactly like someone who is tracing. Skull emoji." This was back in October 8th, 2025. On November 25, 2025, Teru would quote tweet what we just saw, where they were calling out Asami Arts, and say, "Since it's been over a month and VGen did nothing about any of the multiple AI accounts I reported, I really have no choice but to warn people on Twitter instead. I'm not sure what other evidence they want you to submit to take action on AI tracers in their platform. Is it okay just because it's not fully AI but just traced over AI? Because in one case, it was traced not from AI, but another artist, as I recognized the artwork it was traced from immediately. Or was it because the art they traced was not a commission delivered through VGen? So Teru was obviously perplexed here. How is it that VGen is anti-AI while their reports against people who actually are using AI are doing nothing? And it's not like Teru was someone random. Back in August 20th, 2025, they had posted a Google Doc about the artist Misui, who also had another account by the name of Phone. They had very viral art and were growing at a ridiculous pace. But this document had essentially killed any shred of reputation they might have built overnight, providing an incredible amount of proof while also giving perspective from someone who's been drawing for 14 years. Not even 24 hours later, Misui would delete their entire profile off Twitter. Their other account has not posted since June of 2025. So seeing that VGen was not replying, was not doing anything about—
yeah, man, these people are seriously just trying to go after people or so. I ain't gonna lie though. This is just my own personal opinion, right? Just say, hey, this person is using AI art or they AI drawing, and then you kind of like, you just kind of like post your shit or so, make them known or so. They're like, yeah, they're doing that. If you don't want them, if you don't want to order from them, hey, be my guest. But like, honestly, kind of like constantly just keep constantly reporting. It can also lead, like I'm saying, I'm playing devil's advocate at the end of the day. It kind of does lead towards like, just being, who knows, maybe one day they're going to call out an actual real artist. And then, at the end of the day, who knows? It could happen. I'm just letting you know. It could happen, Like I said, you just gotta be careful because, like, you are playing with dangerous water there, okay?
People who are so obviously tracing and copying other people's work, Teru would do it again. And on December 1st, 2025, they would post, "Asami Arts is tracing AI." This is an account with nearly 100,000 followers who has been taking dozens of commissions through VGen.
But you just gotta be careful. That's all, you just gotta be careful. You just have to be a little bit careful.
The evidence, linking a Google Doc. This post has over 5 million views. It would somehow get ratioed by a quote tweet that does nothing but praise it for its incredible formatting. Guys, I'm telling you, this is a very big day.
Yeah, for me specifically, what I usually, it depends what I use or so. If nobody wants me to, let's say for example, let's say I'm part of the commission, right? I do commissions again, I reopen up, I do commissions again, right? I can do normal hand drawing, I can do with AI workflow, and then I use 3D model with my art workflow, as in like setting up like a dummy character or so. They asked me, I don't want the AI one, I want the 3D dummy one or so, and I'm like, okay, all right, you want the 3D dummy one, then I'll do the 3D dummy one. It's like, for me, I have no problem, you know. An artist should be able to know, literally, an artist should be able to draw like no problem whatsoever. The only thing that, you know, that I'm not really good at specifically, because I stay away from them, even if I use AI, I'm not gonna draw those specific things because I am unskilled in those specific departments, which is futuristic and fucking I guess you could say like the dragons, fantasy dragons. I don't like drawing fantasy dragons. I hate fucking drawing fantasy dragons. I stay away from drawing fantasy dragons. Same thing with futuristic shit. I do not know how futuristic works. I don't know how that fucking works in general. I'm not gonna draw that. Don't ask me to draw that, because I am not gonna draw that. Because I literally have no idea what the fuck I'm doing half the entire time when it comes to looking at futuristic shit. It just looks so jarring to me, you know. I'll draw like other stuff in general, you know, but I wouldn't draw stuff. I think like I've been working on metal. Like metal was something that I refused to bother drawing or anything like that. But I've been messing a little bit around with metal, like coloring or so, like drawing like metal, like swords, metal plates, metal whatever, you know. What about real dragons though? I just told you I don't draw dragons.
If you're a Google Doci reader, okay? There are highlights.
I hate drawing dragons.
Links, arrows, GIFs that autoplay. Dude, sometimes there's gonna be a bunch of pictures everywhere, right? Text next to it or on the bottom or whatever, it would show you an arrow pointing to what they're referring to, either to the left or to the right or to the top. I could shed a tear. They even have art chronologically showing the progress. Oh my God. Not to mention the incredible table of contents on the left.
That's crazy. That's a pretty good organization though. Play Cyberpunk 2077 to unlock sci-fi art. Your mom is sci-fi. This is a very good detailed fucking Google Doci, to be honest.
Okay, fine. I'm done creaming my pants for now. Let's get into this. This document is 41 pages, but don't let that number scare you. Every page in this document is there for a reason. There's no wasted time. There's no filler. Additionally, a huge chunk of these pages is there to show you proof, images. It's not 41 pages of just straight yapping. And finally, it is painfully detailed. This document is a work of art, and I don't say this lightly. The first page starts off big, listing everything that Teru is accusing Asami of doing. Teru starts off by saying, there's a big issue at the moment with artists tracing over AI while charging hundreds of dollars for commissions in platforms like VGen.
Dude, honestly, it's crazy that they're charging 120 though. I'm gonna be honest with you. Bro, you guys are getting finessed as fuck in the art community, bro. People who actually buy art or so, man, you guys are getting finessed, man. Honestly. Like, honestly, for me specifically, it's like, if I want an art piece of myself, I'll just draw it myself, you know? I'll just straight up just draw it myself, you know?
Doc is regarding Asami Arts, formerly known as Drawing Asami, and it's meant to inform commissioners about ongoing tracer issues. I don't like making docs like this, I don't like accusing people of AI, and I hate scrutinizing others' art or questioning their skill. But at the moment, Asami Arts is taking $120 commissions through VGen while blocking anyone who questions if they use AI. I understand, it's very frustrating to have people constantly doubting your artistic skill, especially when
I would say fuck them. If they think I'm using AI art or so, I'd be like, damn, then it must be that good then, you know?
Leads to unnecessary insults or harassment. In this document, I will show you why I believe the odds of Asami Arts tracing over AI are extremely high. Generally, there is always a pattern when people do this. The behavior these tracers exhibit always ends up being very similar. They then go ahead and list some AI account red flags. The first one being, the Twitter/X art account is very new. Most joined after 2021, and there are no other socials associated with that username or similar. This is not the case with Asami Arts, as Asami Arts joined August 2024, but they had a previous account with the username Drawing Asami that joined in 2022, but that was suspended. The second point is, art is constantly deleted when someone points out there are AI elements, or comments mentioning AI are ignored and hidden. The third point,
That's pretty weird in my personal opinion.
Multiple sudden changes in art style in a short amount of time. Please note, it is completely normal for artists to study, experiment, and to draw in different styles, but in cases like this, it's kind of drastic and there's no prior practicing leading to the change. One day there's a drastic shift and they have a different style from an existing artist. The fourth point, in Asami Art's case, it combines both the previous points. A lot of their previous art has been deleted because they suddenly switched art styles from popular Japanese artists who have AI models trained with their art without their consent. I will elaborate more on this later. Their current Twitter media tab is all art that resembles famous Japanese artist Ixi. They have deleted all the art that resembled another artist by the name of Hote. The fifth point, sudden jump in art skill. For example, an amateur digital artist suddenly mastering anatomy and color theory within a few months. You can't observe this simply by looking at Asami-chan's media tab because
well, if you're starting off with anatomy or so, anatomy takes a hot minute to fucking learn that shit in general, you know? Fuck, dude, anatomy is so boring, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. It's good, but man, is it fucking boring sometimes. I'll be honest with you. Anatomy is pretty boring. Color theory, I love color theory. Color theory is probably my favorite. Mixing colors and everything, and like finding like the opposite of like, you know, I always learn something new every so often about coloring or so, especially on digital. The only thing that I hate about digital, this is like my personal opinion on digital art itself, is there's too much color for me. It's too many colors for me. As someone who draw pencil and paper, who only had like the box of like color pencil, like this one, like let me see, box of color pencil, like the original box of color pencils. This fucking shit. The original 12, I've had this, okay? If you had 100 or so, your parents were fucking rich, okay? All right? Only rich people could afford this shit, okay? All right? I was not rich, all right? I had 12, okay? And you want to know something? My mom didn't buy this for me. I stole it from school. I stole the box from school, okay? All right? Let's be honest here, okay? I was not rich. My mom could not afford this shit, all right? If you were poor, you would do anything in your power to draw, okay? I stole this shit from my fucking coloring teacher, okay? All right? They never found out, okay? All right? And that's how I learned to draw, okay? I was fucking poor, okay? All right? I just told my mom, oh, they gave us colors or so to draw, you know, so they gave it to us for homework and everything. That's basically, you know, that's basically is what I told my mom specifically, so she never questioned it ever again. But yeah, that's basically is what happened or so, right? So when it came to specifically drawing color and pencil, you know how like there's like more color specifically in color pencil, so you have like a big wide variety, right? For me, I did not have that big wide variety. I had to use with the colors that I had specifically to make certain colors pop out. So I had to mix colors in order for me to get the color I wanted. It's been a lot of trial and error and everything in order for me to find the right colors, but I managed to learn cool things about it, you know? Like I learned that you can use like your markers, like white markers in general. I didn't use my white markers. This is what I used. I was too poor to own markers, because like they were like teaching you like if you have markers or so, you can use the white to kind of like make it. You know what I used? You want to know what the fuck I used or so to make the eyeballs white, or like to make little dots or so for the eye and the highlights for the hair? This is what I used. That shit. I used fucking whiteout for my fucking coloring technique back then or so. This is the shit that I used to make white pop out a lot more in my art specifically. This is what I used. I just asked the teacher if I could use their whiteout and they let me borrow it. And that's what I literally creatively used for my specific art stuff. This shit, this little thinky think is what I used back then when I used to do color pencil art. Like literally, you had to find a way to make your art look good. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Pretty much. That's basically is what I had. I had 12 color pencils and I had a whiteout, and that is all I had to my name, to be honest, until I got into like maybe like high school, where yeah, I started getting more color pencil, but I still you know normally still use this in general because I just gotten used to this in general. So yeah, that's my story how I began to draw.
because they have deleted most of their old art from Twitter.
Maybe one day we can do that on stream, just to get a camera for me to show you guys. Like maybe I'll get like a, well, I need a phone,
the person tracing will still struggle with line art because you can trace the anatomy and copy the colors and shading of an AI picture, but the AI will not magically improve your lack of experience doing line work. Unfortunately, this point doesn't apply when the image is being traced by a veteran artist because professionals will have good line work control already. And the final point, refusing to provide proof, deflecting, ignoring people.
No,
Once
I'll
it becomes too overwhelming, tracers
no
provide a small amount of evidence that ends up raising more questions. And most of the time, they also delete that evidence. Proving that you aren't tracing is really simple if you are not tracing AI. This person was invited to draw together.
If somebody asked me to draw like from start to finish, I'd be like, sure, I'll draw from start to finish. I have no problem. But I'm gonna do it the way how I want to do it though, and that's pretty much about it. So if you don't want me to use AI, you know, and you're questioning my artistic skills, yeah, sure, I have no problem. We'll do it. Sure, fuck it, let's go.
No, browser-based Canvas website, but their response was that they don't have to prove themselves to anyone or convince anyone. The website in question being magma.com, a site similar to iScribble or Dropile, but online. This is a simple, free way to show people you are not tracing. So this was the intro, and it was showing you a general...
So if you're not using AI, this person has invited to draw together in the browse-based Canvas website, but their response was they don't have to prove themselves to anyone. The website question is called magma.com. Can I see that real quick? Can I see the magma.com real fast? Magma.com. I've never heard of this. What is this? So let's see, create on a shared canvas in real time. Magma is a drawing platform for artists and teams who want to sketch, collaborate, and grow together. Oh, really? This looks cool. What? Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, this is pretty cool. Pricing. What's the pricing? What is this? Oh, they charge for this, Missy? For the share ideas and communicate via built-in voice call and chat. $0 a month, 30 users per drawing, 4K canvases up to 60 layers, 1 gigabyte storage and 25 MP import, 7 days of version history. What does that mean? What is 7 days of version history? What is that? You think we should do something like this, chat? I think this looks pretty fun, actually. I kind of like this, actually. This seems pretty cool. I like this. Yeah, I wouldn't mind drawing something like that. Wait, can you guys draw with me? Question mark? Is this a thing where we can like draw something or something like that? So welcome to Magma, collaborating drawing website where artists can paint together on a shared canvas, chat and sketch with friends. Online and make connections, draw something for free. So like, oh, I see. Like mall? I'm not too sure, actually. This looks pretty cool. I kind of like this, actually. Okay. I've never heard about this before, in my personal opinion. This is pretty cool, actually.
Sense, you learn something new every single day. A tracing account.
I mean, it'd be pretty fun if we could draw on stream. Like everybody can draw on stream and everything. I think that would be pretty fun.
The time lapses below are from Clip Studio Paint. It allows you to export time lapses in 15, 30, and 60-second lengths, and a full length. I converted the original MP4 files that were posted on Twitter to GIF format so you can view it.
Wait, you could do that on fucking a Clip Studio? You can do time lapses on Clip Studio? Oh, fuck, man. I never knew, man. You learn something, man. You learn something new every single day. That's cool, actually.
The time lapses that
I was thinking people just record themselves on OBS or something, you know?
Is also 30 seconds long. Terry would then say, in red highlighted text, the line art magically being drawn with no sketch in the background. And in these two different time lapses, we can see exactly that. This line art just appears. There's no sketching process. There's no erasing process. A lot of the top artists sometimes will have to rescale certain things, change the perspective on certain things. Here you see none of that. Terry then continues, this is how Clip Studio Paint time-lapses work. You have to manually press the record time-lapse button. Then the program will begin recording all the strokes and undos you make in every layer. Sometimes, artists forget to press the record button so the time-lapse won't show them working on the sketch, but it will still show the sketch at a low opacity when they are lining. This means that Asami is lining without a sketch to guide her, without corrections, perfectly placing every line with no hesitation. Note how she doesn't even bother drawing Callie's whole face first, then erasing the chin area that will be covered. This is of course referring to the right time-lapse. Normally an artist would draw the entire chin area of the face.
Well, yeah, of course, you're supposed to draw the entire fucking mouthpiece itself.
Erase it when, you know, the boobs come in. But in this case, before even drawing the boobs, Asami somehow knew the exact place they would take in order to not draw the chin there.
Well, yeah,
as if they had already known exactly, to the most minute detail, how the drawing was going to look like before they even started drawing. Teru would then continue, you should know that Clip Studio allows you to make a private line work layer that will not be shown in the time-lapse. I have included the source links and original upload timestamps for Asami's time-lapses. But as of October 9th, both time-lapses were deleted from her account.
Wait, you can do that too? You should know that Clip Studio allows you to make a private line work layer that will not be shown in the time-lapse. I've included the source link in the original. Really? You can do that? I didn't even know that, actually. That's cool, actually. That's pretty cool. I didn't know. Like I said, I don't really use any of these stuff, to be honest, at the end of the day. I just kind of like just draw. That's about it, so.
Below, I will show some time-lapse GIFs from AI tracers and a Twitter user who traced an AI image to prove that it's possible to fake a time-lapse in Clip Studio Paint. These time-lapses are very similar to Asami's, where there are no adjustments and the line work is drawn perfectly. So this time-lapse right here on the left was posted by a Twitter user to show that you can trace over AI with Clip Studio Paint and it won't show in the recording. Here we can see another tracer doing the same exact thing, and on the right we can see the other person that Teru had written a Google Doc about, Misui, doing exactly that as well.
Oh,
now look, I'm not expecting everyone watching here to be an artist, or much less know how a time-lapse is supposed to look like.
Yeah,
so here's
sure.
a very quick example of an artist I really like on Twitter. Their name is Dino, and here's the final completed artwork that they worked on, and here's the time-lapse. As you can see, there's a lot of changes that happen even in the sketching process. A lot of scaling, moving things around. Nothing is ever certain when you're drawing. And even in a sped-up time-lapse, it still appears to be slow sometimes. That's because adjustments are constantly being made. That's the whole point of drawing. So when an experienced artist all of a sudden sees someone come out of nowhere on Twitter, garner a huge following, make a drawing every single day, and their time-lapse looks like—
Making a drawing every single day? Fuck, I can't even do that. I can't even make a drawing. I tried doing that. I was like, fuck, I can't do this shit, dude. I cannot fucking— I have to do, maybe I can do like once a week, you know, if I, you know, when I wasn't busy, fucking making videos for YouTube. Yeah, I can do it like once a week, but fucking every single day, drawing every single day, fuck that, dude. I can't do that shit. That's wild to hear that.
Of course it'll raise suspicion. Teru would then continue, saying, on October 7th, 2025, when I quote tweeted Callie's time-lapse commenting about it being traced from AI, Asami Arts immediately blocked me. On October 8th, she posted a new time-lapse, then deleted the 2 old time-lapses on October 9th. Both deleted time-lapses had been in her media tab since April 2025. What did Asami Arts have to say about this? She was contacted via VGen regarding proof of her art not being traced over AI during October 8th. When questioned about how she managed to do the line art without a sketch, this was her reply. She'd say, practicing with beautiful lines after without sketches and thick outlines would make you proud to do it yourself, but people tend to misunderstand. I posted a new video, I hope it answers your questions. Teru would continue, saying, this is the direct reply to the purple message above. I thought for a second that maybe English wasn't her native language and that's why she typed it that way, but the other messages are not written in the same vague style. It's basically a non-answer. As she mentioned in her first message, she posted a new time-lapse during October 8th. And oh my god, there's an arrow pointing to the right, and on the right, you can see the tweet they're referring to. It doesn't take half a page. Oh my god.
That's crazy.
There's even a link to the original tweet as well. And again, it's a 30-second time lapse, and you can even see the hand of whoever Asami is on top of the tablet that they're using to draw. Teru would say, before I elaborate on this third time lapse, let me finish this exchange that happened on VGen. So after Asami's very weird worded reply, the person who was asking her about those perfect lines would say, just to be clear, let me know if I understood properly. The Clip Studio time-lapse without a sketch is—
It's weird because I don't make perfect lines either, to be honest. Even like for me specifically, like I don't make perfect lines when I do my even if I do my final artwork or so, my lines aren't really like still perfect at the end of the day. I try to take my time for it, but I still don't.
Because you have 8 years of experience? So being able to line art without a sketch, a professional skill you developed? Amazing. Asami would reply with, yes, that's right. Actually, I erase and redo my drawings many times, but Clip Studio only records the video from where you last left off to speed up the drawing process. Many artists do that. And as I said, my computer is problematic, and I don't even know how to access the old PSDs and drawings. Unfortunately, I lost my drawings from 2017 onwards. As you can imagine, a lot of time has passed. And now Teru continues with a left arrow pointing to what we just saw. Oh my god. Saying, Asami is claiming here that she erases and redos her drawings many times, but Clip Studio only records the video from where you last left off to speed up the drawing process. This is not true. Highlighting this sentence in red. After you press the record time-lapse button, the only thing you can do is either export it or press the record time-lapse button again to stop recording. And Clip Studio Paint will show you this warning if you try to do that. The warning would say, this will turn off canvas time-lapse drawing. Any time-lapse recorded for this canvas will be deleted. This action cannot be undone. Teru would continue saying, now let me elaborate on the third time-lapse she has posted on her Twitter. This is no longer a Clip Studio time-lapse, this is a Procreate time-lapse. Procreate is a popular iPad drawing app which includes a time-lapse export feature just like Clip Studio Paint.
How good
However,
is Procreate
is known for having a feature where you can easily hide entire layers.
Sounds like a long cap.
With Clip Studio Paint, you can only hide line arts or binary images. Sadly, because of that, I do not consider a Procreate time-lapse to be solid evidence in a case like this. Teru would then link a tutorial on how to hide your reference layer in Procreate, further showing why they don't trust this, while also saying, I'm sorry, but I cannot take this as proof that Asami isn't tracing because it was recorded in Procreate. She also provided a photo of the layers, but you can delete the traced image layer after you are done tracing. And again, a day after posting this time-lapse on Twitter, she deleted the 2 previous ones. I don't want to be nitpicky, but even in this new Procreate time-lapse, she never goes back to erase, adjust, or correct anything while sketching, lining, or shading. I believe showing layers is only solid proof for an artwork that seems to be generated with AI, but it's different when it's someone tracing over AI. Clearly, if the image was generated with AI, then the artist won't have layers to show, or they will claim that they drew everything in one layer. But I believe Asami is tracing, not posting generative AI. However, there are some previous artworks I believe were generated with AI and not traced. So, what would someone do in a situation like this, where the time lapses are weird and you are still being accused of tracing AI? How do you prove your art is legit? On October 10th, 2025, it was forwarded that I'd be willing to draw with Asami on magma.com in real time. Magma, previously known as Aggie, is basically a browser-based drawing app. It functions exactly like any other art program. If she isn't tracing, then she would have no problem drawing with another artist at the same time.
To be honest,
her reply to the purple message to the right is below.
I think it'd be pretty fun
on
on
the
stream,
right, you can see a
actually.
message being sent to Asami saying, would you be okay drawing on a shared canvas at the same time with another artist using an online canvas website
Hell
like
fucking yeah, I would.
I believe this should clear up some of the people's concerns because you will be drawing along with someone else. The website works perfectly on an iPad and you can set the time and date.
Oh, you could draw, really?
Asami would then reply with, I don't need to keep proving myself over and over again because of what people say about me. I won't take part in the witch hunts or hate culture that start when people put themselves above others. The internet is a free place. You're free to believe whatever you want. If my previous time lapses didn't convince you, nothing I do now will. And honestly, I don't have to convince anyone. Throwing accusations online and demanding proof is just ridiculous. You'd probably say, see? No reply, must be AI, if I didn't respond. And if I blocked you, you'd say the same. But no one owes people like that any explanation. You don't have to commission me or follow me. Ending this with a prayer emoji. Teru would then say, you might not owe me anything, but you do owe your current clients the right to know what they are truly paying for. No one has to commission you, but the people who are commissioning you are doing it because they expect to receive an illustration that was drawn by you with your own skills and not.
So as a non-artist, layers refer to like having a base model as with layer 1, then being able to create multiple outfits as the same model without recreating a base model parts. No. So when it comes to layers specifically, right? Here, let me see. So when it comes to layers in general, right? Give me a second. Let me pop this out real fast. Let me pop out the good old art. So I'm gonna pop this out real fast. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you this, and then I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna pop out. Which one has that many layers or so? Because I usually combine them at the very end. I think this works. I think. Hold on, let me see. Maybe this works. Maybe. Give me a second. Does this work as my color layer? It does. I actually combined it on accident. Whoops. My apologies. That was not supposed to happen. Actually, no. My different layers are on here still. Yeah. Okay, so what you start off with, right? Specifically when it comes to layers in general. So when it comes to drawing, right? So this is something that I was messing with specifically, which I do want to come back to in the future, actually. So you have this, right? You have this specific, you have your outline, you have your thing here, you know, kind of like working, and this is my 3D model that I have underneath it, right? So this has 0 outlines on it, right? Your first layer is basically your outline layer, basically. Like you have this specifically, right? And then you kind of like, you know, you mess with what, depending what your reference is, of course, you know. And then from there, you know, I just put this or so to add the eyes or so where it's at specifically, right? I haven't, of course, I'm still gonna edit this shit by a ton, but I want to do it live on stream, of course. And that's that, right? And then you have this, right? I have this specifically, right? This has AI assistance in it. But as you can tell, if I turn off all these fucking layers here, specifically, you have different, as you can say, well, I don't know if you can see it or not, actually, to be honest, but it's different different colorings in the layer itself. So if I turn this on specifically, right, this is what it looks like. This is what it specifically looks like underneath the layer. That's what it looks like. But when I turn all of these on specifically, right, I turn this on, I turn that on, I turn that on, I turn that on, I turn this on, I turn that on, and I turn that on. That's basically what it is, you know. All the originals underneath it, you know. You just turn all these off specifically. Yeah, just these are all my different layers, you know. Layers are basically is what you work on different layers. So granted, of course, I'm gonna make the outline better, of course, but that's basically it though. And turn that on. And then see, see, turn that on. And boop. And there you go. See, that's what it is. Different layers do different things. This has a glow dodge. This has a glow dodge at 53%. This has a hue. This is normal, saturation, normal at 49, normal at 69%, and then boop, 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 boop. And there you go. So it's different. The layers do different things because you can't put them on the same layer. If you try putting, let's say if I try putting this mixing with like with my hue or so, the original color that's on this is going to go into a different color, and you don't want that. You want it to be on a different layer specifically to do different things. They have different properties. These layers have different properties of what they do. The saturation does saturation stuff. You see that? Non-saturated, saturated. Non-saturated, saturated. If I did the same thing on my base layer here, it would turn out to be like this. It would turn to this, even though I want it to be normal. That's basically is what it looks like. This is what it looks like, you know. So you kind of know what layers do. Layers do different things. Different things do different things here. Goes hiding the AI layer allegedly. Your mom's an AI layer. I already just told you this has AI in it. This is the one that does not have any AI in it. It's just using 3D models specifically. So, but this is the one that has a 3D. This one has AI in it. I've used AI in my workflow specifically for this one though. But just for the posing, the clothing, and that's pretty much it. So it keeps certain parts and the art piece separated, so you can handle multiple effects. Yeah, it has different multiple effects specifically on this. See, the AI art piece is right down here though. Well, the posing anyway, so. But overall, this is my entire workflow here for that specifically, but I'm still doing the coloring and the rendering for the hair itself. You can still see my brush strokes and everything within it, so. And that's kind of like the gist of it though. But yeah, that's it. That's basically it. So, but if I want to do it without it or so, this is pretty much is what I use every single time. Set up the pose for the 3D model. What I usually do is set up posing for a 3D model, making sure everything is a-okay, and then setting up everything else, and then blah, 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 you know. So this is my long way of doing it. So, but I just kind of like use this or so specifically. As you can still see, my lines are still not fucking good. Like my lines are still fucking terrible. Like my lines are still fucking god awful, as you can see here. I'm still doing fucking chicken scratches on my fucking, like I still do chicken scratches. Like I still sometimes do chicken scratches. Like you don't see it like very close like this. This looks nice, right? This looks nice and everything. But then when you zoom in on it, you can still see my chicken scratches everywhere. I still need to fucking like edit this shit and everything. So as you can see, all those chicken scratches that I have everywhere. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing the outline, you know, a lot more cleaner, of course. But as of now, that's not something that I'm worried about. It's because I'm so used to drawing color pencil, so I'm just kind of like used to leaving this in there until like at the very end, and then I start doing that. As in like, well, in digital, when I mean at the very end or so is when I complete this entire piece, right? And then I start outlining, the thing or so, and then I started erasing in it. So yeah. Here I don't really have to worry about that because it's on a separate layer. You know, if I take off this layer here, right? I don't have to worry about it because the coloring specifically is like underneath of this or so. So I can just like, you know, you can just do this much. Oh my god, look at that. I can erase that without any problem. And then, you know, or if I want to, I can do this or so. Like if I do, let's take for example, let's say for example here, right? Let's do like a maroon color, right? We do this, right? We draw here, right? We draw this, right? But I'm like, look at all my pencil markings here, right? I can just do this. Cha-cha, and there you go. That's it. You know, I can definitely say at least yours will turn out good. If I try to do it, it'd be a mess and bring generous. Just being generous. Nah, I still don't think my art is that good though. But that's just my personal opinion. I personally don't think my art is that good though. I still got a long way to go because there's still some art classes that I want to do, but I haven't gone and done them yet. So, like I said, I'm open to say that I use AI, of course, you know. Like I use it, but it doesn't take over my entire workflow. It does not take over my entire workflow. I still enjoy drawing. I still enjoy rendering. I still enjoy, you know, doing the quote unquote outline anyways. Not the digital. I'm not a huge fan of digital outline. I'm more a fan of doing pencil and paper. So it just merely assists me to minimize certain stuff that I personally not a fan of doing. And I just like rendering a lot more. That's my favorite thing is always practicing doing random renderings and learning what I learned from a video or something or whatever other stuff to kind of like implement, and that's pretty much it.
That's something you generated and traced over, just like last time.
Like I'm open, like I said, yeah, I use it, but it's not like super minimal in my workflow now.
AI
I didn't use it before,
made this issue way more common because it's easy to just generate an image and delete it once you're done tracing it. Then the evidence is gone forever. But in the old-fashioned way, if you are tracing an existing artwork from another artist, the original source can be found online eventually. One day before I saw Asami's reply, someone I know reached out to another artist because they seemed to be tracing over AI as well. It's best to clear up misunderstandings about AI in private, but this was the reply that the person I know received, which reads very similarly to Asami's. It also mentioned drawing in Magma. That other AI tracer would say, with all due respect, I've shared my PSD and I've also explained my workflow in good faith. After sharing the same file with other artist friends, they've all agreed in unison that it's more than enough proof to demonstrate that my work is my own for someone who's acting in good faith. At this point, I feel like you've already elaborated your own opinion on me and that nothing that I might do or say will change it. And that's okay. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion and I do not think less of you just because of what you think of me. But you have to understand that I really don't feel comfortable continuing this conversation anymore or doing a live drawing session with you. I really wish you the best, but I would like to step away from this conversation now. I don't expect you to agree with me, but I will block you now, and I will also block you from my Discord server. Please don't contact me again. Alright, so as you can see here, this reply is very similar to Asami's reply, even though they're a completely different person. Tara would then continue in the document saying, for the record, I also believe that person is most likely tracing, but unlike Asami, they are not taking commissions, and this doc isn't about them. However, the similarities are there, and I found the timing to be astonishing. Most of the time, AI tracers will immediately deflect or become hostile when people start pointing out the issues and inconsistencies with their art. The screenshot on the right is from foam/misui, replying to someone on Twitter DMs after people questioned if they were using AI. Here we can see a reply that's definitely more hostile and aggressive compared to what Asami had replied with. Instead of saying, hey, I can't make you understand, so I'll just say goodbye, they try to refute the arguments directly saying, so what? Yes, I'm uploading detailed art daily, so what? That was the tone that was given.
Who has enough time to upload art detailed daily? You can't do that daily. It's impossible.
Asami's current media tab is missing a lot of her art since the posts have been deleted.
Unless you're legit
because people pointed out
so.
AI inconsistencies. Her previous account, Drawing Asami, was suspended. I don't know the reason for the suspension.
You don't see me posting every single day, Chad. I probably would burn myself out so
here we can see four different images. Three of them are replies that were left on an art piece that Asami had posted on her previous account before being suspended, where they all are kind of doubting the fact that this is real, this is definitely AI. And the fourth image is the drawing itself. I don't know how the hell Teru managed to find it, but here it is. I guess it was because it was also uploaded on Danburu and wasn't deleted from there. Teru would then say, the comments on the left are talking about this artwork Asami had posted in her previous account on May 2024. Notice how different the art style is compared to her
Even if I was jobless,
I will talk more about that later. I was not able to recover any of her replies as the account was suspended.
A detailed art piece every single day, I can't do that.
AI errors in the art. I try not to be nitpicky about errors in art because human errors are a thing too, and I have seen people accuse others of AI because of mistakes in their art that can be attributed to human error.
Well, that
only
hand
becomes
has
so
3
evident
guns.
when these mistakes happen on almost
three fingers,
every single image, to the point that all of them have at least one issue. In fact, there's so many things to point out on every artwork that would take too many pages, so I will point out the most blatant ones only. The first one is gun muzzle placement. The drawing itself would be of someone pointing a gun at a cat girl that seems to be really into it. I mean, she's licking the gun for some reason. The gun itself, though, would look pretty weird. When people pointed that out, Asami's reply would be, I'm still not good at drawing weapons. So sorry if there are any weird parts. I looked at the reference and tried drawing something like it. Teru would say, I'm not an expert at drawing guns, so when I draw them, I use tons of references or 3D models. But it's just humanly not possible to make a mistake like this if you even bothered to look up a single handgun or Google images. I don't want to ramble about this, but I simply can't imagine looking up references for a gun and then placing the muzzle on the rear of the gun, while also ignoring the lack of proper finger placement. There are thousands of images.
I was like, wait a second, there's like a hole at the back of the gun. Why is there a hole at the back of the gun?
An existing gun, like an M1911 or a Glock.
Yeah, like that.
You can skip this page. I just want to emphasize how ridiculous this error is. This is what I mean when I say AI users do not care about details or are unaware of their mistakes.
You know what's funny about that? When this person literally say AI users don't care about detail, and I'm someone who does care about detail because I can literally pinpoint the actual errors in the actual like art piece itself. It's very interesting. That's very interesting for me.
Really saw the muzzle in the back and didn't think for a second that this guy's gonna shoot himself? I mean, it's true. On the drawing itself, you can see that the muzzle is at the back of the gun.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a muzzle is, it's where the gun shoots.
Yeah,
it's where the bullet ejects from. By the way, I'm not even an illustrator, right? But if you gave me this drawing, I can fix this in less than 5 seconds.
But even then, it's just like, even then, that finger placements, that finger specifically needs to be a little bit more. So, okay, so when you're holding a gun specifically, right? On top of that, right? The gun, so the thumb needs to be angled a little. The thumb needs to be angled. What is it like? Let me see. Let me see if I can show you. Let me see if there's an image for this. Okay, so you see where that finger is? You see this finger, the trigger finger? It's supposed to be a lot more outwards when it comes to this. The trigger finger on this one specifically is not outwards. Even if you're pointing it angledly like that specifically, for that specific gun in general, and when you're gripping, usually when you're gripping on anything, or when you're gripping a like a gun in general, right? You usually have the thumb itself, right? This specific thumb itself, it's supposed to be angled downwards. This is supposed to be angled. Like, that one is a more relaxed one. Like, that's a more relaxed positioning and everything. But as you can tell, it's definitely not supposed to be angled like that. It's not supposed to be a relaxed finger. Like, this thumb itself is not supposed to be that relaxed when you're shooting like that. And even if it was relaxed, if this was relaxed in general, it's supposed to be a little bit more upwards. As in a more relaxed position pose, you know? Like the way how you're supposed to be holding a gun. You see how mostly all of them are angled downwards? They're all angled downwards, and you still have the thumb still pointing outward, the finger still pointing outwards. Still got the finger pointing outwards. You have majority of the finger still pointing outwards. Like, yeah, you can say this one or so, but the difference between that and that is because the thumb goes all the way. And even then, what the fuck is this? I guess that's supposed to be, oh, that's weird. That's weird, I wasn't even noticing that. Even then, it's supposed to cover the whatever the fuck this part is called. I forgot what this is called. What is this called? The guarding or so for the trigger thing? I don't know, whatever it's called. It's supposed to be covering the thumb, you know? Like, you're supposed to, like, the way how you're supposed to holding the gun or so, it's completely like, you know, see, and there's this angle, and then let me see. You still got the finger pointing outwards. And as you can see specifically here, look at this. It's still angling towards downwards. While in this one specifically, it's angled this way. Even I know this. Even I fucking know this shit. You know? As you can see here, thumb is cut. The finger is inward. It's more inwards. You won't be able to see that one. And then you can see here. With this angle, it makes more sense. You only see a pretty much a pretty tip of it, you know? It all really depends on the angle itself. That's why when it comes to certain angles and specifically when it comes to certain art pieces, it just doesn't make sense overall, you know? That's why, you know, that's why I know most of this stuff, you know, because I've drawn for such a long time.
The point that Tara was trying to make is that when someone uses AI, let's say for tracing or just posting the actual AI drawing in its entirety, they don't care about details.
Also, that gun, if the gun also, damn, I wish I had a toy gun, dude. A toy gun would be so much better, to be honest, but I don't have a toy gun, to be honest. When it comes to a toy gun specifically, when you're holding a toy gun, that angle looks so weird because it looks like your hand, the hand is looking like it's facing forward, right? But the gun feels like it's angled to the right, you know? Like the hand is like the perspective of it is like, you know, you have your hand pointing forward, right? You have your hand pointing forward, you know, and everything, and then you put something in your hand, right? You put something in your hand specifically, but then you angle it a little bit towards the right, and that's what it kind of looks like to me. The angle of the gun itself just looks completely weird and off.
Because they're not artists to begin with. This subsection on the gun would end with Teru saying, "I'm not a gun expert, but if such a handgun with a hole in the back exists and it was used as a reference, let me know. I'm not even being sarcastic. I know of a handgun that has a round indent in the back, but I will refrain from sharing the name here in case Asami reads all of this and tries to pretend that was the gun she referenced from. But it's a bit unbelievable she didn't use a more widely available reference when the most common handguns look like this," showing an example of the back of 3 guns. The next subsection here would be titled Hair and Clothing Errors. This subsection would be very picture heavy, but the whole point of it is to show us inconsistencies on the drawings that an artist wouldn't normally make. For example, here we have an image of a fox girl, I guess, with her chest out.
It's what's her name? Rorora from Hololive. I know this.
Tara would argue the top part of the sweater doesn't connect to anything, and there's a random string connected to the underwear, but you could say it's just a fashion design element. In the next drawing, Tara would argue there are hair pieces.
Wait, what the fuck? Wait. Are you telling me that they made this art piece, this top piece specifically, but like it's not really connected to anything and nobody saw this? Brother in Christ, I immediately... Okay, whatever.
But you could say it's just a fashion design element. In the next drawing, Tara would argue there are hair pieces that are not connected to the main hair. Bear in mind, these 2 drawings have been deleted. They're from Asami's old art. Here's another image, and Teru says, "There are so many things that are wrong with this picture that it leads me to believe that it was generated instead of traced. The hair is so disconnected and just lacks coherence everywhere. However, it is too JPEG artifacted for me to be able to tell if it was generated or not." And Teru would take the time to link a definition as to what that means. In a nutshell, it's compression, right? You know when you upload a video on like Twitter or something and it's like very pixelated? That's because they don't want to use up too much of their server space. They compress your video to a lower quality and upload it on their website, which makes it look worse. This image was so compressed that Teru couldn't dive as deep as they wanted to. They would then show us 3 different other drawings saying you will notice a lot of these issues will be hair errors. When the person who is tracing has no idea how hair strands work and is tracing over random AI hair chunks, this is what happens. In parentheses, looping or disjointed hair strands. And that's exactly what we can see here. Here's an example of a looping hair strand. It starts at the root of your head, goes down to your shoulders, and somehow goes back up to loop back to your root. That's not how hair works. Huh? There are so many examples showing these same inconsistencies. For example, here's a character that's meant to have 1 tail, but it's kind of showing 2 because it was drawn badly. And we have another drawing here that Teru suspects is completely AI generated, not even traced. The shadows don't match.
That's crazy in my personal opinion.
The shadow source or have different hues. Hair chunks are not coherent. The ribbon of the character has 3 bows, when instead it should be 2. This is important because when you're an artist, you spend much time drawing an illustration of this caliber. You stare at it all day, you become attached to it, and there's no way you'd publish a drawing that has such flagrant errors.
Exactly. Fucking exactly, bro.
The only way you do that is if you don't even look at it for more than 10 minutes. The only way you do that is if you generated it and have no sort of attachment to it and don't really care how it actually looks. That's an AI artist's biggest weakness. This leads us to the next major section, titled AI Users Ignore Critical Character Design Elements. The first subsection would be titled Roora Art Major Design Inconsistencies. This is in regards to the character Roora. Tara would say, what I have noticed when people are tracing is that most fan art they post has the character wearing simple casual clothes like gym clothes, plain dresses, swimsuits, etc. But when they post fan art where the character is wearing their official base outfits, design elements are wrong or do not match the official references. I find it very hard to believe these are human errors. For example, only using a low quality reference or having to interpret details yourself because the character you are drawing doesn't have a reference sheet available. Roora, though, has a very detailed reference sheet available online and plenty of fan art with the correct accessory shapes. There are also AI elements across the image. Again, we're shown line art inconsistencies, hair inconsistencies, all sorts of things. The next subsection will be about Kanata, more design inconsistencies. One could argue about the artistic liberties an artist can take while drawing an official outfit. For example, and if you are familiar, Tohu project characters. Maybe the switch from pantyhose to thighs was because the artist specifically wanted to show the underwear. However, there are too many elements that are also missing. And here we can see a comparison. On the left, Asami's drawing, on the right, the official drawing. One of the most obvious inconsistencies is that on Asami's drawing, Kanata has 3 stars on her dress. Additionally, it's a star with 5 points. On the right though, there are only 2 stars on the outfit.
I'm like, if you're an artist, you should already have the character sheet for them to draw. If they have a pretty detailed fucking character sheet, it should be fucking easy to draw, you know? Even if you use AI in your workflow, it should be really easy to fucking know immediately. That's the difference between me. I only use it for posing, clothing design, depending on the clothing. If I want something specifically, like a specific clothing, mostly streetwear. Streetwear is probably the one that I use the most, actually, to be honest. Sometimes hair, but only hair is if I'm doing an original character. That's it. Usually if I want to base it off of somebody or so, the posing and the clothing design, I'd probably base it off of somebody else or something like that, you know?
And they're shaped like a cross. It simply doesn't make sense if you're an artist that can draw like at this level that you would somehow take this decision. It doesn't make any sense for you to do that. The next subsection is titled Sakuna Art, Design Inconsistencies. In Sakuna's case, the side bangs are a completely different shape, which is something AI tracers tend to ignore sometimes. I was not able to find a reference of her Live 2D model, only an official render, but you can see her model in her YouTube channel. Teru does note, however, artists might still interpret hairstyles in their own unique way to suit their style, and it's not always indicative of AI tracing. Still though, we can see some major differences between the hairstyle. In the document, Teru would then say, the next example about a character not matching their official design will lead into my next point of AI that is trained with popular artists' works, emulating their style very accurately. In order to present that, I will quickly explain some info regarding AI models. Have you noticed how during 2022, AI struggled to figure out character outfits and blended them together, but recently they are able to match character designs more accurately? This is all thanks to LoRAs. Tara would of course link a screenshot on the left of the definition of what a LoRA is, and it would say, low rank adaptation, otherwise known as LoRA, is a technique used to adapt machine learning models to new contexts. It can adapt large models to specific uses by adding lightweight pieces to the original model rather than changing the entire model. A data scientist can quickly expand the ways that a model can be used.
Yeah, but sometimes I like to make abominations sometimes with my LoRAs. With my LoRAs, I sometimes make abominations.
Rather than requiring them to build an entirely new model. Tara would then say, basically, the LoRA is a smaller model that is trained with very specific data that helps fine-tune details in other larger models. This isn't just done for character costumes only, but also things like hands, poses, and most importantly, in this case, specific art styles. You see where we're going with this? This means that big AI companies already stole the art of so many different artists to make their AI models on art, but now allow just about anyone to find any artist they like, take all their art, and make an entire model that emulates their style that they spent countless.
It's like at the end of the day, right? This is the one thing I always say every single time. It's not the tool that's the issue. It's the people using the tool that causes the issues. That's the only thing. It's like the same thing with the perspective. Guns don't kill people. People using the guns actually kill people. That's just how it is.
Years.
It's just the people that are using this tool.
Bad. This leads us to the final subsection in this section, titled Saba Pre-Debut Artwork.
Oh, I know that website. I know specifically that website that they're showing. I know that website.
On June 28, 2025, the VTuber Sameko Saba debuted. Let's just say, Saba's debut was highly anticipated by a lot of people, and tons of artists were eager to see her design and draw fan art of her. A few days before her debut, Saba started posting some teasers that showed some parts of her design, so fans were uploading their own design predictions and started working on fan art before the debut date. The earliest AI Lauras I can find of Saba were uploaded June 24, 2025, trained with the artworks that were guessing what she would look like. Because of this, the design that was generated by AI with these Lauras was inaccurate. The June 24, 2025 upload times for the Laura model shown on the right are 5:50 p.m. EST and 6:40 p.m. EST. On June 25, 2025, Asami Arts posted a Saba fan art. Keep in mind,
it's kind of funny because specifically for me, I don't really I don't really draw anybody in general. I just kind of draw myself. I just kind of draw my VTuber model, the first one that I used anyways, the first one, not this one, the first one. I don't know, it's because I kind of like it the most, to be honest. I just kind of draw that one in different clothing and posing, and that's it. So that's the only one that I draw specifically. I don't really draw anyone else. Maybe I should probably draw someone else, but I don't know. It's just kind of I don't know. I just kind of drawing myself specifically. I don't know. I have no. Trust me, I'm a humble streamer. Trust me, I definitely do not have a big ego whatsoever. Maybe one of these days. Maybe one of these days we could probably draw somebody or so. Maybe.
At this point, there were only teasers for Saba's design. Everyone was guessing and coming up with their own predictions, so it would not be possible for any fan art to fully match the official design that would be revealed on June 28th. So here we can see the two different Lauras. They were made using references of what other artists thought the full model looked like. This is why every drawing it would generate would look fairly different in terms of how her hair looked like, for example. Everyone was guessing differently. Terry would then continue, "The reason I suspect this artwork is traced from AI is not necessarily because the design does not match Saba. As I have pointed out, her full design was not revealed by the time Asami Arts posted this. Rather, I find it hard to believe that this was their own design prediction by June 25th when the following teaser had been posted by Saba during June 15th. On June 22nd, Saba uploaded a final teaser that showed the back of her head and part of her side profile, along with a silhouette of her body. In this silhouette, her tail shape is very clear too. You can also see she has no...
I can finally put artists on my resume, post a bunch of artwork, and if anyone asks me to draw live, I will draw a stick figure and call it modern art.
Blue highlights on her side bangs. There's a very small probability that they missed these two videos, but I find it hard to believe because the new fan arts being uploaded had the correct tail shape drawn too. More importantly, and going back to the Lauras, the tail shape is clearly taken from another VTuber, and one of the Laura uploaders admits as much. We can see that in the Laura description. So I'm sure you can see where this is going, right? Even though this new tail was revealed 3 days prior to Asami Arts posting her fan art, the tail was completely wrong and was matching 1-to-1 the tail of the VTuber that the Laura uploader used as reference. Terry would continue. On June 25th, Saba finally debuted and made her reference sheet available. After new fan art started being drawn and uploaded, AI users immediately began scraping them to make Lauras with her proper official design. The earliest models that I can find were uploaded on June 28th. On June 30th, Asami uploaded the following artwork. Going back to AI users ignoring design elements, and despite the new...
Even for me specifically, if I made an artwork, right, and I used AI as part of my technique and everything like that, I still wouldn't upload it in a single day because I'll still take time in drawing it because I got to make sure all the details are correct. That's just me. That's just literally me in general.
Updated Laura for the outfit. Once more, there are a few things missing or incorrect in the artwork above, such as the tail position and length. The dress does not have the hole in the back for the tail, it's meant to be placed underneath it. And back to Laura's again, do know that multiple Lauras can be used together. Yeah. That means you can generate an image with the Saba outfit Laura plus Ixie style Laura together.
But I'm gonna put this in here because I've messed with Lauras. I have messed with Lauras before. You can only mix certain Lauras together to come up with something good. But if you mix in the wrong Lauras together, you make monstrosity. How do I know this? It's because I've made monstrosities in the past and they are beautiful. Good luck mixing them. I did, and I've made some beautiful monstrosities. Honestly, I can probably show you what I've mixed or so. Let me see. I think I have something. I think I can show you guys something. Let me see. Hold up. Let me see. Let me where are they at? Wait. I got one. Where is it at? Where is it? Where the fuck is it at? Where are you at, you stupid monstrosity, ugly bastard? Where is it? Nah, not that one. No, not that one. Where is it at? Where the fuck are you at? I need this one that goes like kind of sicko mode. Oh hell yeah! Here it is. Okay, you guys want to see it? You guys want to see it? You want to see? You want to see one of the monstrosities that I created a long time ago? This was in when was this? When was this created? Let me see. Can I check? Can I check when was this created? This was created this year, I think, the beginning of this year. I think it was created at the beginning of this year. You want to see my monstrosity that I created with mixing Lauras together? Say hello. Say hello to my beautiful artwork, chat. This is the best. This is the best piece of artwork I ever created in my entire life. Look at that shit. That thing's of true beauty, man. You can make a monster out of that thing, you know? It's the greatest. It's the greatest thing. Mwah. That thing is beautiful. So this is what happens. So if you mix with the wrong Lauras together, this is what you basically get. Pretty much 9 times out of 10. Like, this is what you basically get. If you find something eventually that becomes good, yes. But 9 times out of 10, when you're mixing stuff together, this is pretty much just what you make or so. Yeah. I just wanted to add that tidbit or so, because I know about this, because I like I said, I play with AI at the end of the day, so.
Is Ixie, an artist whose illustrations have been used without permission to train multiple AI Lauras in the style Asami has been using recently. However, Asami has used multiple styles in the past, all specifically from Japanese artists who also just happen to have Lauras trained without permission. This will be the focus of my next point. So as you can see, this isn't just about spawn tracing. This is about people paying money to commission someone for art that they're not drawing themselves, while also stealing art from other people.
I'll just draw for my VTubers for friends for free. I ain't got no problem, because you want to know why? Because I enjoy drawing at the end of the day. I like drawing. I'll draw for my VTuber friends for free. I have no problem. I'd be like, you want me to draw something for you? Fuck shit. Hey, I'll do it for free.
Without their permission. This goes deep,
no problem.
and it leads us to the next.
Even if they're willing to give me money for the art piece in general, I'm not gonna charge them over 100 and something, you know? It's absurd. I'd be like, yeah, just give me $30. I'll just do it for you for $30. I have no problem with it, because I enjoy drawing at the end of the day. Lauras are trying to put details to images without caring if it makes sense. Yeah, the difference is with me specifically is like, it's not like I upload. Let's say, for example, here, let me see if I can find like a decently good one in my, like, let me see if I find one decent good one. Let me see if I can find like one crazy good one or something like that. One that has like very minimal detail. That's what I'm trying to find. I mean, minimal errors or something. Here you go. Like this one, for example. I'm not gonna upload this immediately, because I can, number one, I already see the errors already in this drawing, right? Without even me bothering or so. But I personally wouldn't just upload this immediately. Or, you know, like the only thing that I would probably copy or so would be the pose itself. The pose and maybe the bikini, but I probably would change the bikini to something else, maybe. Depending what kind of other bikini I want specifically, right? But like, I wouldn't personally upload it like this. Like, I'm not gonna upload this, you know? Number one, the hand, you can tell immediately the hands are having an issue, of course, you know? There are some there, and even then specifically, I don't do this kind of body proportion, like this specific body proportion, like the way how they have like so much shit happening in general. Like, I really don't personally do that, you know? And this is kind of like it. The hair makes no sense. Let's be honest here. The hair legitimately makes no sense overall. And I just kind of like, you know, and that's kind of like generally the gist of it. But I personally wouldn't freaking, you know, I wouldn't personally draw the hair like this. Looks like you're using an uncensored model. I think I don't even know what I used, to be honest. To be honest, I don't even remember what Lauras I used specifically. But I only draw in like one specific way. I don't really draw in any other different ways. I don't really color in every well, sometimes, depending if I want to experiment with something, I kind of color in different ways. But I think the most that I use specifically is pastel, color pencil, a little bit of a dab of paint, just normal paintbrush. Watercolor I do mess with it, and that's kind of like generally it. But pastel and color pencil are usually the ones that I use the most. Like those are the things that I use the most specifically for art piece. Would I use this pose? Yeah, of course I would use this pose specifically. But that's kind of like generally the gist of it, though. The pose in general itself would be something that I would totally use consistently. So for something in the future.
Major section of this document titled "Art Style Changes Are Sudden, Old Art Deleted." Asami Arts has changed styles many times and wiped her galleries, both Pixiv and Twitter, on multiple occasions.
I don't really delete my artwork. I like seeing where I came from all the way until now. So like if you want to see specifically how I still have them. Where I originally colored. Like I'm just talking about coloring in general. Let me see. Like this is old. This is super, super, super old. Oof, I can't even see that. Yikes, sorry about that. There you go. That's like super old. That's super, super, super old. You know? That's when I began doing digital art back then. Like that was way back then. This was my most recent it mostly makes sense only when you want to hide something. Yeah. Like this is there, right? And then this is my most recent art piece that I drew or so back when I was, I think back when I moved. Wait, was it back? No. Yeah, when I was moving out of my old apartment. When I was moving out of my old apartment before I moved to this location, that's basically is what I created. I still have it too. I still have it. So that's what I did. That's what I drew, you know? And you can tell immediately. Look at this. You can tell how good my my line work is still on pencil and paper. You know? You can see here like the coloring of different shading or so that I'm trying to do or so back when I'm doing color and pencil and everything. So you can see my eye color. You can see the eye color stuff too as well. Look at that. You know, I still have it too. I still have this artwork. I still have it there. I just haven't bothered continuing finishing. I wouldn't mind actually continuing it on stream or so when I get a camera. When we get an investment for a camera or something like that, so I can be able to point it downwards or so, and then I can draw here live on stream and everything like that on color and pencil and everything. I love color pencil. For me personally, color pencil will always be like my forte. But yeah, like I said, I'm not scared. I'm not scared to show my old artwork. I'm not scared to be like, I'm not gonna hide my old artwork pieces and everything, It's just not how I am, Why would I want to hide it, It makes like, personally, it makes like no fucking sense for you to be hiding it unless like you're not confident in your artwork, Like you're not confident in general of like your art from like back in the day, I post mine from Pixiv the moment when AI came out, and then the moment before that too as well, and everything like that. That's kind of like basically the gist of it though. But like I only use like AI is only used like only like a fraction of my workflow. I'm trying to see if I can find other stuff. Like even back then when I was learning how to do things, I made this thumbnail with AI. Where's my thumbnail folder at? Let me see. I used this for AI just to help me, just to kind of help me get the fucking video out, because I'm not really too sure on making thumbnails personally. Oh, here it is. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Yeah, that's AI. That's AI right there. But I used AI for thumbnail purposes only. So, and that's pretty much about it though. That was during that's when I was playing a ton of Honkai Star Rail when Honkai Star Rail was coming out, and that's pretty much it. AI for artists would be much more useful if there was a tool like Cursor is for programmers, not generating, but assisting step by step doing the boring parts. Yeah, that's the only thing that I use or so for AI in general. Like that's the one thing I use AI specifically for. It's just to get rid of the monotonous stuff out of the way. I'm just not a huge fan of it. My fun part for me specifically when it comes to art is because usually what I do or so when I used to draw, just draw, right, on color and pencil, is I look at my phone, right? I look at my phone. I have my phone right next to me, and I just draw from the phone. Like I just draw on my pencil and paper on my phone. That's like old school. That's like literally old school how I used to draw. Just kind of like looking at things, you know, looking at my phone and then drawing and then learning to draw that specific art on the phone onto my pencil and paper, and that's basically it. So.
To hide this. We took a screenshot of her Pixiv page on October 7th, and while I was typing this during October 11th, I went to check her Pixiv and most of the arts were gone again. So here we can see how it looks like in October 6th. There's 15 different drawings, and then just a few days later, on October 11th, there was only 3 left.
I never wiped my art.
Then continue. On a personal note, I don't find artists deleting art that suspicious unless there are other issues.
No.
As someone who used to delete art quite often,
I never do.
I would not be satisfied with the final image after posting it or deleted old art, so only recent artworks would be displayed in my media tab. Now, thanks to AI, artists are forced to keep old art in their media tab as proof of improvement over time in case they get accused of AI. The concern begins when the art or evidence such as time lapses are deleted only shortly after comments start pointing out AI elements. Disclaimer, it's completely okay for artists to experiment with different styles, and that itself is not indicative of AI usage.
Yeah,
but unless you are a professional, it is not easy to switch or emulate styles so quickly, less than a month, with no in-between practice at all. And in this case, they all happen to be styles from well-known Japanese artists. This brings us to the next subsection, titled, "The current style they're using is based off a Japanese artist, Ixi. Their art has been used without permission to train multiple LoRAs, but once more, you can combine multiple LoRAs together, so it could be possible that they're using the Ixi style LoRA with another artist's style."
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They definitely are using the Ixi style, but they're definitely using a different one for it. You can tell. You can automatically tell.
So here we can see a drawing that Ixi had drawn on November 2020. Then we can see an image that was made by the LoRA based upon Ixi, uploaded on April 2024. And finally, we can see the drawing of that same character that Asami Arts had uploaded on July 2024. And yes, you'd be blind to not see the similarities. Teru would say, "In order to respect Ixi, I will not be sharing or linking any other of their artworks going forward. But I was not the first person who noticed Ixi's style resemblance in Asami's artworks during this time period. As mentioned before, she has changed art styles in the past." Here we can see 4 different replies made by people on Asami's art saying, "Hey, this looks exactly like Ixi's art." Some people were surprised, praising Asami's talent, while others were like, "Yeah, this is a trace, thanks." Teru would continue, "Something very important to consider is that the style change needs to happen after an AI model / LoRA is uploaded online. If the LoRA was not available online by the time of the sudden style change, I would not consider..."
I still use the same style. Like my style has been the same.
The possibility
I've never really changed my style.
But I'm also aware anyone can train their own models offline and not share them with anyone. In Asami's case, and this is just an estimate based on Danburu upload dates, the Ixi style change happened around June 2024. For example, the model to the right was published in August 2024, so I wouldn't consider that it was used at that point in time, perhaps after that date. However, there are Ixi LoRAs dating all the way back to 2023 online, with 2024 to 2025 ones producing more accurate generations. The following screenshot is a LoRA model re-upload from an AI site, but the original upload is no longer available, so there's also the possibility that it was uploaded online much earlier than April 28, 2024. Some of the artworks uploaded more recently resemble post generations using Ixi's LoRA to an extent, but since AI learns from real art, I try not to focus on post similarities unless it's a very close match. And here we can see that. 2 recent drawings uploaded by Asami, with one being as recent as September, share very similar poses to the LoRA itself, with the other one sharing similarities with an account that uses both Ixi and another one's art style combined together. But it doesn't end here, because Ixi is far from being the only victim. The next subsection will be titled, "The art style they used before was based off a Japanese artist, Ogipote." This is the style they used from 2023 to mid-2024. I will point out that Asami is also following both Ixi and Ogipote on Blue Sky and Pixiv, as well as 2 other artists with similar anime Nuri styles. Ogipote has also had to deal with their art being used without permission to train AI models since 2023. On April 30th, 2023, we can see Ogipote making a tweet saying, "Please stop distributing the AI named after me." We can also see a screenshot of who Asami is following on Blue Sky, and it includes these artists. Teru would then link an image that Asami had.
I think the only 2 artists that no, 3. I think 3. I think I'm following 3. Maybe 2. Maybe 2 that I'm following, and then 1 that I know but I don't follow them is Mika Picasso is one. Defaults is another one. And what's the name? What specifically their name is? I forgot their name. It's it's the one artist that made this cyberpunk animation. Made the cyberpunk animation one. I forgot what's it called. The music video. I forgot what they're called or so. They have a Russian name. I forgot the name.
Posted on January 2024 with an illustration that was drawn by Ogi Pote, and the similarities here are fairly obvious.
Those are kind of like the three that I know off the top of my head.
Before May to June 2024, Asami was using Ogi Pote's style before the switch to Ixi. Unless there are missing images of the multiple burus I searched, this switch was sudden and drastic. I will stop listing Twitter sources and only use burus as all the original posts for these are deleted. And by the way, if you don't know what a buru is, it's an image board pretty much.
Yeah.
So from left to right, we can see drawings here. The first two are drawn in May 2024, the third one on June 2024, and the final one on August 2024.
That's crazy.
On the halfway point of May to June, we can see a drastic change in art style. So much so that you'd think it's two different people. Terry would then say, my reason to believe these might also be traced from AI comes from the fact that there are also multiple AI elements in the backgrounds. In most instances, the background is blurred to hide these artifacts. Terry would highlight these artifacts, and they're very clear. These are truly artifacts. These are things that don't...
To be honest, if I'm gonna make a background, if I generate it from AI, I'm still gonna draw it out. Even though it'll take me a long time, I'll still draw it out.
Belong in the drawing. These are glitches. And yet even after blurring the background, they're still very obvious.
Yeah, of course.
Terry then continues, I will not be showing every single instance of AI background since there are dozens of images. You can argue that only the backgrounds are AI generated and the characters are drawn from scratch on top and not traced from AI, but the switch from Ogi Pote to Ixi style was just as sudden as the jump in skill before Ogi Pote.
Like for me personally, I'm not a huge fan of drawing like backgrounds. Like my backgrounds are like okay-ish. Like they're okay. But I'm not super confident in them, you know. But I can still draw them though. But I'm not like 100% like, oh yes, I'm a 10 out of 10, you know. Nah.
Style, which is what leads me to believe the character started being traced
like maybe a 7.
Once more, let's look at Laura upload dates. If there is no AI model that was uploaded online before the art was posted, then the chances that it's traced from AI becomes lower. The earliest Asami artworks in Danburu with Ogi Pote's style date back to at least June 2023. But as previously mentioned, Ogi Pote tweeted about AI infringement all the way back in April 2023. The earliest model I could find dates back to is in March 2023, and it can generate the background at the same time. I believe Asami started tracing AI around this time period. During my research, I found out that one of my followers had commissioned Asami multiple times back in 2023. I reached out to them and explained the situation, and they provided me with the commissioned images and gave me permission to use them in this document. Out of the 3 commissioned images they shared with me, the one with Ogi Pote's style was dated back to April 12, 2023, which is earlier than the June 2023 Danburu upload date I mentioned above. However, my point still stands as the AI model for Ogi Pote's style was published on March 22nd, 2023. So here we can see 3 images with different dates, and goddamn does the first one have some big cannons on those chests. That's getting censored. But anyway, even though it's censored, in the first image I think you can clearly see that this seems way different than the other drawings we saw. This might even be Asami's real style, the one that she uses without AI or tracing or whatever.
I think it looks fine in my personal opinion. I think the only thing you have to do is just refine the placement of the eye, because these eyes look really very far apart from each other. I think the style is fine. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I think that's a pretty nice style, but hey, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. So this proves my statement, chat. People who are scared of AI, right? Well, as in like this person in general, right? People are like, they're the lowest people of artists, right? You got like different tiers of artists, right? You got your A tier and then you got your F tier, right? The people who who have AI workflow take over the entire process of their art and everything are the terrible artists that want to be up here in the A tier or the S rank anyways. So those ones specifically, you know, are the ones who are abusing it to try to get up the upper hand, to skip all the steps from all the other artists who climbed slowly but surely. And that's pretty much it, you know, so.
Was the first commission. However, the other 2 were crazy different. And this is where Teru says, these improvement rates in a single month from beginner artists only became so common after 2022 with the first wave of AI image generation.
Yeah.
For non-artist references of what general improvement looks like, see the artist evolution post on Pixiv, 1-year art improvement meme, or 10-year progress summaries. So I went to Pixiv and found this great example. You can truly see how the improvement is gradual. It doesn't.
For me, if I have to put, I used to be here. Then I became to here. And I'm here. I was here. And I think I'm right here. This is where I'm at specifically. I want to get to here. I'm here. I want to get to here. That's where I want to be specifically when it comes to my artwork.
Happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a month. It doesn't happen in a year. This is why drawing is so damn hard.
I've been drawing since 3rd grade. Yeah, I've been drawing since 3rd grade, so.
It took this artist almost half a decade to see very notable improvements and 1 full decade to truly reach a point in which they can have their own awesome art style. You don't simply go from the left drawing to the right drawing in a month. It's just not humanly possible.
Do that in a month,
just like how you can't just start playing a sport today and go to the Olympics next month. It doesn't happen. This leads us to the next subsection, which will be titled, There was a small period of time where Uekura Eku style was used. Around May 2024, approximate according to Boru Uploads, Asami briefly switched styles from Ogipote to Eku style before switching again to the current Ixi style. Seems that Asami's kind of indecisive, huh? Something I noticed is that while Asami is following both Ixi and Ogipote,
I've been drawing for more than like 15 years, and I still have yet to reach. I'm still not as happy where I want to be yet. I've been drawing for more than 15 years, and I'm still not there yet.
But in Blue Sky, Eku Akura is blocked. Asami's Blue Sky was created February 7th, 2024,
9 years.
and they were blocked on February 28th, 2024.
15 years. I've been doing it for 15 years.
The source, oh my god, they include the source, Clear Sky. And it's a website where you can see who people are blocking and when they block them. And as you can see, yes, this is correct. The document continues. This is strange, as it's not part of a mass block. Blue Sky lets you mass block accounts from lists made by other people. So on the left, we can see this drawing that we saw earlier that Asami had posted on May 2024, and on the right, we can see what Eku style truly looks like. Again, we can definitely see similarities here. Once more, let's look at Laura uploads online. At first, I could only find one uploaded on February 29th, which is 1 day after Asami blocked Eku on Blue Sky. In the end, this similar timing was probably a coincidence, and I thought for a second that maybe the block was an accident. However, I find it unlikely as you have to press a menu to find the block button and get a warning when you are about to block someone. That said, after a bit more digging, I found a model that was uploaded on October 24th, 2023. There will always be the possibility that these are simply heavily referenced and not generated with AI and then traced, but somehow these exhibit similar AI errors that are still persistent in future artworks. I haven't gotten to Asami's art prior to 2023 yet, but I want to share some comparisons of the style change with the same characters across less than a year. So as you can see, all these different drawings by Asami were in 2024. The differences between art styles is astounding.
That's crazy.
Again, you might not be familiar with art, but all you have to do is go to like a famous artist's profile and see their drawings. This doesn't happen. They might change their art style once for like a special drawing, but that's it. You don't drastically go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with different art styles all the time. Like, it's crazy. The final subsection in this major section is titled Incoherent Skill Improvement. As observed, there is a constant and very distinct change in styles, but besides that, improvement completely stalls. So far, I've tried not to nitpick at errors that could be human in nature, but there are some issues that can't be dismissed. There are pieces where the perspective—
Whoa, those legs are very wide. Those legs are those are some you can see her booty hole from behind if you change the camera to the other side. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Seems flawlessly executed, but then there are artworks with dynamic poses that have anatomy mistakes and proportions are always different between images. If an artist has somehow mastered multiple styles in less than a year, seems to have knowledge of anatomy, to a fluctuating degree, and dynamic poses with over 8 years of experience, you would expect them to know how patterns wrap or bend around clothing and how to execute it in their art program of choice instead of multiplying a font layer and using the free transform tool with no account for the curvature of the body. So yeah, as we can see here, the text nurse on this flannel seems like it's floating. It doesn't even look like it's on the clothing. That's of course crazy when the drawing itself looks so good. So look, so far you're probably already convinced, right, that Asami is using AI that they're tracing.
Yeah,
There's a small chance you might not be, which is why Teru made an entire dedicated section titled Art Chronologically. And oh my god, is this—
Oh, this is gonna be great. I can't wait to see this.
not a self-report. Teru is a goddamn detective. I'm telling you, dude, you don't want to piss them off. Otherwise, they'll make a document to ruin you. They went as far back to 2021 on different websites such as DeviantArt to find Asami's original art style. This is them drawing without AI, and obviously the difference here is indescribable. We'd also see some art that Asami drew in 2022, and again, huge difference than what would happen 2023 onwards. The massive shift would truly happen on January 2023, where we'd go from a clear art style that belonged to Asami to extremely professional art that was heavily inspired by other people.
Interesting. That's interesting.
At the same time, this is when AI backgrounds start to show up too. Chronologically, it would be in March 2023, as we saw earlier, that Ogipot's style starts showing up. What's interesting here is that the first image provided by Teru, which is from March 11, 2023, is actually from Etsy. Someone purchased a commission from Asami on Etsy, and that person left a review. They say, "This is my second time working with Asami. However, this time I let her control my outfit, but she changed my character entirely, so it doesn't even look like me. I'm a little upset that she wanted to charge me $25 for two things that should have been there in the first place. The sketch didn't look like the final product. It's cute, but I won't be using this art to define me at all. I'm a wolf VTuber, but she drew me as a cat." So see, this is why AI commissions are tricky. You tell them you want one thing, they draw something else, and they can't change it. Why? Because they didn't draw it. We then see the massive...
If a person tells me, it's like, hey, you know, can you change this and change that and do all this other stuff? I'd be like, shit, yeah, sure, I got no problem. Let's do it.
Switch in art style again from 2024 to 2025. I mean, it could literally just be a completely different person. And it would lead us to the next section titled Deleting Art After Being Contacted. I was going to source the first image to her Pixiv, as I remembered it was still available there, and you can see it in the Pixiv screenshot
I like this
back
one,
here.
though.
It's now gone. I believe it was deleted in the past few days. There's only one artwork remaining in her Pixiv now. I checked Twitter instead, and I found out that the remaining posts from early 2025 are all deleted now. Last night/early morning, on November 28th, I had been scrolling through her Twitter for sources, so I believe this mass deletion happened overnight as I typed this, 3 a.m. November 29th. All of the remaining fan art has been deleted, and now the media tab solely has artworks of her original character going back to September 2025. I'm sorry I don't have screenshots of her old media tab to prove this, so you'll have to take my word on this one. The only thing I can provide is the version history for this doc, which proves I did check her Twitter yesterday and the link was still working. Do you know what happened before midnight November 28th? I emailed Asami. So I'm going to assume that the specific deletion spree was not a coincidence. I apologized for the harsh wording of my quote tweet back in October of her Cali timelapse, where I implied it was someone tracing over AI. Even if it looks most likely traced, I shouldn't have replied the way I did. Of course, I was quickly blocked after she saw my QRT, so there was no way to contact her. After apologizing, I briefly explained the increasing amount of artists tracing AI and expressed wanting to solve these matters privately. See, after taking a 2-week break from this doc, I started to wonder if maybe I had just hallucinated everything, and maybe all the theories about Laura's were far-fetched as I have no way to prove she did use those models. Maybe
no, she's not wrong at the end of the day. These are Laura's 100%.
The improvement is suspiciously fast, yet disconnected, but who knows really because it's something that can't be standardized. That's why I decided to email Asami to clear things up. Quite honestly, I do not expect a reply. I asked for PSD files of any of these 4 artworks seen on the right, but I know an artist might be uncomfortable sharing PSDs with strangers, so I mentioned screenshots of the layers were okay, but told them that I know those can be edited. I didn't pick these artworks randomly though. I have a suspicion these are generated, not traced. Yet I can't confidently say they are generated because I have no evident proof and I could be wrong. They might simply look like AI because of the blur filter. Why do I suspect these might be generated? I had mentioned the Asuna issues back here, but I don't point out everything that seemed odd back then. There are some errors where I think the possibility of them being human mistakes are extremely low. But in some cases it's very ambiguous, as there are genuine mistakes in art sometimes because the artist was distracted, too tired, too lazy, or was rushing to finish. Maybe all of them at once. So again, we can see more inconsistencies involving detail.
Yeah, when I need to rush something or so, there are inconsistencies that I can see it. Even I point them out too as well when I show them out at the very end. I'd be like, I fucked up here and I fucked up there and I fucked up here. I rushed here and I fucked up there.
Shadows, artifacts.
Because I stare at my own artwork for like
the shadow
hours.
just stops at a certain point, right? When in reality, the drawing doesn't. It's very weird. At the end of this section, Teru says, I will update the section before publishing if I receive a reply. Update. As of November 30th, I never received a response to my email. The next section is titled New Artworks Almost Every Single Day.
Oh, fuck that,
so
dude.
I started the stock back
Fuck
in
that,
October,
dude.
took a break,
Hell
then
no.
resumed. There were roughly 48 artworks posted of her original character through 57 days from October 3rd to November 28th. A new image posted almost every day.
Jesus
the account's basically
Christ.
all thirst bait art now, but seeing how all of them have like 20 to 60,000 likes and 100 plus comments, I'm sure the premium checkmark is going great for you, Asami. On top of that, There's the VGen commissions that aren't posted on Twitter. There are 12 reviews from October to November, which means the total artworks drawn in 57 days was over 60. Is this art output normal? I would say no, but it's not completely impossible. There are a few things to consider when it comes to art speed, such as canvas size and art style. An illustration with a background will take longer than a flat character on a white background, and a drawing done in an 800 pixel canvas generally will take less time to finish than a drawing that's 6,000 pixels tall. However, after drawing a character so many times, you'd think there would be consistency in their anatomy proportions, especially in two artworks drawn back to back. So here we can see two different drawings of Asami, and the proportions, most notably on the thigh section, is very different. We can also see a calendar with dates of all the drawings that Asami posted from October 3rd to November 28th, and as you can see, it's almost every single day with almost no breaks in between. This leads us to the next.
There was one time where I was drawing consistency for Year of the Rabbit. I never want to do that ever again. I never want to do that. Yeah, I was using AI for it. I don't want to do that ever again. Fuck that, dude. That shit tired me out the second day, and I was just like, I don't want to fucking continue drawing. I was like, I wanted this shit to stop, dude. I wanted this shit to fucking stop. No, it wasn't every single day. It was every single week. It was every week. My bad. Not every single day, every single week, because I couldn't do every single day. So I was doing it every single week. I was doing Year of the Rabbit or so. And I did not want to continue drawing. I was like, fuck this, dude. I was like, I did not want to do this. Like, yeah, I had AI to help me out, but I was like, fuck this, dude. I hate drawing. There was literally a point that I said that I did not like to draw after that. I just did not like to draw after that. I was just like, fuck this, dude. Fuck this. This shit's fucking ass.
Section titled AI users don't
I was like, who the fuck can do this every single day, man?
Now that all these new artworks were posted while I was away, the first thing I noticed across these new images is that she has not bothered to learn how to draw braids despite the character having a braided sweater. So here we can see different drawings posted within the same week, and the braids are completely different in each one, with the most recent one having the worst braids compared to the first one. The most recent one was on October 8th, and Teru says the October 8th image is the one from the time-lapse she had posted before. So we can see the thought process behind the line work for these. The braids weren't part of the sketch, so the line art begins immediately. I slowed down the time-lapse and turned it into 2 GIFs so it's easier to follow. There's only one instance where an area of the braids is redrawn or corrected, but the line art is essentially still the same. There were no adjustments made. So on this GIF, we can see that the only time that a braid was corrected was the bottom. There was only... No, I would never do this shit for one day. I probably would lose my mind drawing every single day, to be honest. I'd be like, fuck this, dude. I couldn't even handle a week, bro. That shit is wild. You'll see me do a drawing every couple of months, but fucking a week, a day, 2 weeks? Fuck no. One correction.
It'll be every couple of months. I'll finish one drawing.
Terry would then say, if you keep tracing AI braids instead of learning how to draw them, you are never going to draw them properly. For those who actually care about learning, there are multiple ways and techniques to draw braids, as there are many knot types. Here's a braid tutorial that I found useful when learning in the past.
So there's a couple of braids that I used to learn specifically, right? So the one that I learned, right, was doing basically, I don't know if they show it here or not. Oh yeah, this one right here. So you do straight lines, right? You do the straight line ones, and then you do this. You do this. You do this. You do this specifically, and then what I do is like just basically just add curvature waves into this, and that's basically how I do it. It's just add the curvature wave here, curvature wave here, curvature wave here, curvature wave here, and curvature wave here.
Teru would then include 7 more drawings that included that sweater. Again, complete inconsistency with the braids, and what's crazy too is that there's a whole inconsistency with the sweater design itself, even though this was Asami's original character and was meant to look the same with that sweater. Also, here's a difference between real braids shown in the tutorial and AI generated braids, which look very similar to what Asami had in her art. Teru would then write a sentence with a big font and highlighting the text in red, saying, for all of the reasons I have provided so far in this document, I believe that Asami's skill jump from 2022 to 2025 is not genuine.
Well, of course.
It's not impossible, just highly unlikely. Please do not use improvement speed as the only reason to suspect someone of using AI. There are real artists who practice and study hard and improve at an impressive speed in only 1 to 2 years. My assumption is that this started sometime during 2023. I don't have to wonder about the reasons or circumstances that would lead someone to build their career out of lies and fraud. It's always money and or popularity.
It's
Finally,
always
for
about
this
money
section,
and popularity.
Tara would write, request to VGen. To respect commissioners and their original characters, I have avoided using art from Asami's VGen gallery, but I want to talk about VGen for a bit. There are multiple tracers on their platform right now. I understand that as the platform grows, these fraudsters slip through the cracks, but I don't know how the vetting process to join works right now. Last I heard, it was invite codes. I don't have time to make documents like this for every single tracer out there, but I had sent what I believe to be very substantial evidence when I reported some accounts last month. It's been nearly 2 months, reports sent on October 8th, yet action was never taken on the accounts. I never received a response, so I don't even know if the reports went through. I was told they get hundreds of reports, so it will take some time to review them, but in the meantime, these people are still taking commissions from people who don't know better. Please consider separating AI reports from general platform reports if you haven't already, as this is going to keep happening from now on. AI Gen has gotten extremely accurate, yet it's not hard to catch if you ask for a PSD, but tracing AI is a more complex matter to investigate and creates distrust between all artists, especially beginners.
True.
And finally, this leads us to the last section of the document titled AI Avatars on Socials. Something I keep noticing is that accounts tracing AI sometimes have AI generated avatars. I'm not sure if Asami generated these, as it's impossible to find a source online. There's also the possibility that the images were saved and used without knowing they were AI. So as you can see, there are multiple images showing the same AI-generated character being used as an avatar on Asami's Etsy back in 2022 and their card website in the beginning of 2023. Tara would say these are Wayback Machine snapshots.
That's
However,
AI.
the January 2023 avatar is still visible in her abandoned Gumroad page. And that Gumroad page still exists today. I'm surprised it's not deleted. It's right here on the top left. The soulless eye style was fairly common back in 2022 when AI was not as advanced as it is today.
Yeah.
Okay, the final page in this document would be Teru reposting Google Docs from previous controversies about tracers. There are multiple, and then would conclude this document by saying, as this becomes so prevalent, I'm afraid that in the future people might wrongfully accuse others, whether in good or bad faith. Please don't resort to hate or threats, even if something might seem very obvious at first glance. Please review these things privately first and ask other artists for a second opinion. The only reliable proof right now is live drawing in the same canvas, like Magma or Drawpile, etc., with screen capture as time lapses and recordings can be forged. So yeah, one hell of a document, am I right? To many, this was all the proof they could have ever asked for. They were convinced they didn't even need to hear Asami's side of the story. And you know who else agreed with this mindset? VGen. Very shortly after Teru's document dropped and caused huge commotion in the art community, VGen would go ahead and finally ban Asami from using their platform. This was a very big deal. It was VGen essentially admitting, yes, you're right, Teru. Asami is indeed breaking one of our most important rules. They're producing non-human AI art. So with the document slowly going viral and the ban taking effect on VGen, what did Asami have to say about it? Well, initially, nothing, which made many people who were outraged with the document go to the most recent post from November 30th, one day before the Google Doc got posted, and they all replied with their grievances, either linking the document itself or just calling out this person for using AI tracing. What happened to those people, you ask? Well, they got blocked and their replies were hidden, but thankfully you can see hidden replies. And there are many, like this one right here with an elephant saying, "Address me." Then, 2 days would pass since the document would come out, and on December 3rd, Asami would post this drawing of their persona, giggling with the caption, "Ah, wonderful, a full comedy show. Ah, sorry, I forgot, you prefer the word drama." This meant to show us that this document that was made was nothing more than petty drama. It doesn't affect anything they've ever made so far. The next day, however, on December 4th, Asami would take on a completely different tone, making a post saying, "This drama isn't about AI or art. It's someone trying to destroy me with lies. Someone who argues with me and acts like a judge, prosecutor, and executioner. What you see in the picture is the way this person attacks me. This is who you're supporting. I don't have to prove myself to anyone, but by supporting people like this, you're choosing what kind of person you are. You're doing a witch hunt, but I don't really enjoy tanning." While her own drawings don't even get 1,000 likes, her attacks get thousands of likes. Do you think this is about art? And the picture that Asami is referring to is their inbox on their email, in which we can see that many of the emails were adult websites confirming registration with Asami's email. It's interesting though, because in the post they say, "What you see in the picture is the way this person attacks me." And yet, having read the document myself in this video word for word, I don't think there was ever a time in which Teru encouraged people to use Asami's email to sign up to adult websites. Then, on that same day, we're still...
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some rogue people who decide to do that though.
December 4th, Asami would make a long post, and with that post would be attached a video of a time-lapse with them drawing their character. Here's what was said. Long time ago, when I first opened my Etsy, my art really wasn't good. I even used the first cute picture I found online as my profile image. I didn't even know what AI was back then, and if you look at my old Etsy orders, you can clearly see I never delivered anything in that style anyway. I tried so many styles. I spent a long time experimenting, even copying the styles of artists I admired, because I was learning and trying to get my own style. I played with 3D posing tools like everyone else, using MMD to understand poses. I tried backgrounds from places like Pinterest or Google because I wasn't good at them yet, like downloading backgrounds from Pinterest and drawing characters on them myself. Eventually, I realized none of that really felt like me. And yes, I still don't know how to draw guns. I honestly don't care to. I can look up a reference, but to me they all look the same, so I just don't enjoy drawing them. Now I found my own style, something that finally feels like home, and I draw with confidence. Yet some people love acting like judges or lawyers online, looking for—
Yeah, even for me specifically, but the problem is like for me, I've been drawing for like roughly about like 15 to 20 years or so. Almost 20. But I haven't really found my style yet, or something that I like, basically. I still have not found it. I'm still been on my journey or so.
Someone to tear down for attention. Sometimes it works on others, but I'm still here. And the reason I never talked about any of this before is simple. I needed time to see people's true faces. Some chose to follow the crowd without thinking, and honestly, it cleared my space in the best way. I don't regret anything I've done. My responses were exactly what they needed to be. I'm still here. Before speaking, try thinking for a moment. That goes for everyone. This was Asami defending themselves in the face of these accusations that they call unwarranted. This time-lapse was meant to prove it. Here we can see the sketch and the final line art. We can see them making mistakes. It almost seems like they're actually drawing for real. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, right? As someone who doesn't draw for a living or doesn't even draw at all, for a second, they kind of got me. I started believing it. I started thinking, wait, was that document just not real? It wasn't true? Why am I even making this video? This time-lapse is 7 minutes long, and honestly, it looks pretty damn accurate. And they just drew everything in front of my eyes, on a tablet, with a pen. The sentiment started to slowly start spreading around. You'd see quite a few quote tweets in support of Asami, calling this some sort of unwarranted witch hunt, accusing people like Teru for going after innocent artists and making drama out of nothing. For a second, it seemed like the tide was shifting, but Asami wasn't done just yet. Someone would quote tweet their time-lapse and say, this doesn't really prove you haven't been using AI at all, you simply aren't using it here. We all know you can draw, but proof, especially the gun error, shows you resort to AI to make the process of drawing faster without informing anyone and your clients about that part. Asami would personally quote tweet this and say, are you okay? I made this drawing in just an hour and a half. Do you really think I need this? So it went from this is AI to of course you know how to draw, really a comedy show or just people unable to handle it. Someone else would quote Asami's tweet about the email spam, and they'd say, in quotations, quoting Asami, this drama isn't about AI or art, it's someone trying to destroy me with lies, someone who argues with me. To which they add, why this part sounds like it's written by ChatGPT, girl, it's getting worse, apologizing is easier. Asami would yet again personally quote tweet this and say, all the people in the world should apologize to you for not knowing that all the people in the world do not speak English. I'm sorry, crying emoji. I guess your next comment will be, why do you use Google? Oh sorry, why was the internet invented? The mood was starting to shift. Asami was simply not going to take it without fighting back. This was their reputation after all, and according to them, they're innocent. Well, some people might have started to believe that, but a day or two later, after carefully scrutinizing the time-lapse, actual artists would have something to say.
Oh?
On December 5th, 2025, someone would say, very interesting looking color wheel you're using here, pointing out the fact that the color wheel had very weird colors. Look, a color wheel is meant to represent RGB values.
Of course.
You're meant to see red, orange, yellow, blue, but also green.
Yeah.
There was no green whatsoever on this color wheel. Someone would quote tweet this and say, dude, are we dead ass? She chroma keyed out the green to hide the AI underneath.
Oh my goodness, damn.
Keying is the process used for green screens. You tell your editing software to just pretty much eliminate anything that looks like this color. People usually use green because it's not really very common to see it on clothing or other props. Here's someone recreating this in their own video, saying, not gonna lie, that's a very big brain move. I had to test it myself. Watch. So here we can see the main art turning green. They just chroma keyed it. This allows them to keep drawing on top, right? As the time-lapse isn't picking up the fact that this got chroma keyed because it's chroma keyed. It's not meant to show up in the time-lapse. They're literally tracing and you have no idea. It is incredibly smart. Like, we have to give credit where credit is due. Asami traced over green AI art and then used editing software to remove the green from her tablet. But that's a lot of effort that you could have used to actually learn how to draw. After the community's findings, Asami's time-lapse video would get community noted. It would say, green is completely missing from the color wheel at 1:16, but reappears later in the video. This points to the video being chroma keyed, which can be used to trace over a hidden green layer as demonstrated in the second link. This is the video we just saw. This post refutes none of the AI accusations. Asami's plan had essentially backfired horrendously. The thing with tracers and people who use AI is that they heavily underestimate how smart artists actually are, or how familiar they are with the tools that these tracers claim to be using. I mean, ask yourself this. Would you try to scam a carpenter who's been in his profession for 20 years with a cheap piece of wood?
Yeah, of course.
No! He'll see right through you.
Yeah,
Why would you do the same with an artist? It doesn't make sense. You're an idiot. Teru had literally said this under their Google Doc. To Asami, if you even consider replying to this, do know that I'm very much aware of AR tracing, so if you record a video of you drawing IRL, it better not just show your iPad screen and your hand holding your pen. This is also another way of faking time lapses, by the way. AR tracing is yet another method other than chroma keying. On December 4th, after Asami would post the time-lapse, Teru would quote tweet that tweet we just read and say, I had seen the situation happen once, so I'm not surprised, smiley face. Trying to disprove someone when they show you their tablet in real time is nearly impossible, and last time the person who did it still managed to fool people. The only way to prove someone is using AR or referencing from another screen is a recording of their whole setup. That's one of the main reasons why Asami was invited.
Oh my god, dude, this is an MMA fight, dude.
You too much. Twist that dick!
Twist his dick!
Twist his dick!
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, dick twist!
How you feeling? You feeling better yet? Question mark.
Someone else on a website where they can't cheat like this. And they refused. Surprise, surprise. I was going to end this video by saying, oh, we don't know what's going to happen. Will they delete their account? Will they keep posting? Well, now we got our answer. They took full advantage of the whole parasocial aspect of online content creation, and now they'll always have a dedicated fan base that doesn't really care if this is AI generated or not.
I think the dedicated people don't really care if it's AI generated or not. I don't think they really will care at the end of the day, so.
As long as they get to live their fantasy. Asami, however, is nothing more than just another drop in the ocean. There are many people like this. This is why it's important that you take the document Teru wrote seriously and you look for these different signs that were pointed out before you commission an artist. At the same time though, if you're not familiar with art and you're not an expert illustrator yourself, you shouldn't call out any artists for using AI. This has happened before, these false witch hunts, and they never end well.
That's the problem.
This is why AI and its role in the arts is so complex. I wish artists the best, and I hope that we can find a solution to AI stealing all their work without compensating them.
There should be, I thought I was going to say, like, you know, to detect AI art. No, you should be to be honest, the original artist should be compensated for specifically for a lot of this in general. So that's what they need to do.
Careful out there with who you commission, and thank you so much for watching until the end. Don't forget to use the code MUJIN for 10% off your Gamer Subs order, and I'll see you in the next video.
That was a good video. What a long video, though. That was a good video, though. This was really a good video. Hey, honey, forget about the AI, okay? If you do, I promise I'll be your girlfriend. Oh my goodness gracious me. Yeah, no, overall, like even then, like specifically, like how I improved or so is because I learned, so, and even then I learned from AI too as well. That's another thing too on top of that. So like even to this day, I'm still not satisfied. I'm not satisfied where my art is. Hell no, 100% hell no. I still want to get to that one part or so in the art to become like really fucking good, to be honest, you know. I am not there yet. No, siree. Definitely not. If I could find that part or so in the video. Where you like improved, like where they improved and everything. Is like, yeah, like honestly, like I'm not even there yet. That was a really good fucking video. I'm not gonna lie. That was really fucking good. As you can tell, right? Like, yeah, I even started out like in this area too as well. I started out here too. Like this is where I started. I think I know who that is too as well. That one VTuber that's right there in the corner, the cat girl. The cat girl looks very familiar, to be honest. Yeah, and then I moved on and got improved a little bit here too as well. I also started drawing like this too as well, you know. But like I've never reached to the point where I'm like satisfied or so. I'm not even there yet, you know? Like that's the thing itself, you know? But yeah. Anyways, what a long ass fucking video, to be honest. Jesus Christ, I recorded this video for such a long time, but I had to talk about it at least because I think this was a really good video at the end of the day. So great video, great fucking video, to be honest, honestly.
anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. Like, yeah, I use multiple things. I use 3D model poses. I use normal. I even use AI for my posing and everything like that. But I don't really let it take over my entire process. I don't literally take my entire process. I literally popped out my shit or so in general. Like, you know, and that's just kind of like generally the gist of it. But I don't really upload it until it's like done, you know. It'll take many months or so until I finish it, you know. But that's about it though. Or weeks. I should say weeks, months, depending on the artwork itself. It could be like, if it's just one person or so, it'll probably take me a couple weeks or so if I'm not busy with other things. But since I'm usually busy, most of the time I'm usually busy with other stuff or so, it'll take me months to finish because I got to take care of a channel. I got to take care of a YouTube channel and everything like that. So, and I also got to stream too as well. And then I got to do that too. Or years. Yeah, it could be years too as well too. Sometimes, depending on the artwork. But yeah, it's because I'm just so busy with other shit. I just don't have that much time to sit down and do a lot of things in general, which I wish I did. But unfortunately, you know, time is money, unfortunately. But once I do have, you know, once I do get an editor, once I do get a thumbnail artist, once I get these specific people to help me out or so, I'll probably have a lot more time to draw and everything like that. And I can finally sit down and do that one class that I wanted to do for a long ass fucking time. I have 2 specific classes. Well, technically I have 3 or so, but one of them is pretty short. I have 2 specific classes for art stuff in general for like, cause I want to see how they do like their shading style and everything and see if I like their shading style. But I have no time. So anyways, that's the end of the video. And for those who sticked around for this long ass fucking video, subscribe. For those who don't know, I'm trying to reach 20K or so before the end of the year. We're almost there and everything like that. Come on, support your girl and all that stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But even then, I still draw. Like, I still like drawing, you know. I like drawing itself, you know. I still take many hours to draw. I still do all this other stuff. I still do rendering and everything like that, you know, and all that stuff in general. Like, I'll draw for free because I just enjoy drawing in general, you know. That's just kind of like, I'll draw my VTuber friends. Like, if they want to ask me something, it's like, hey, can you draw me something for me? And I'm like, sure, what do you want me to draw? I'll just do it for free, you know. Even if they want to give me money, I'm not gonna charge over $100 or so, or like 100. They're literally charging a shit ton of money or so for art. Like, literally, you guys are getting finessed in the art community. I wouldn't even charge that much in general. I probably like the most I probably would charge would probably maybe be $60, maybe just $60 or something like that. Maybe less than that. I don't know. That's what I used to charge or so back then, but that's not even that much though. But I used to, like, what? I think I began with like $30 or so. I began with $30, and then from there moved up to, like, you know, more and more after a while. So you up for commission? I haven't done commissions in a long time though. But yeah, you hear that, Panda? This motherfucker, shut your bitch ass up. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And yeah, fucking shit, man. I maybe one day we'll draw on here, actually, to be honest. I think this would be really fun. I would totally love to draw on this website. I think this would be a really fun thing to do. And peace.